It is time.
It's time.
It's time.
It's time. It's time.
It is time.
It's the Money Show.
The Money Show.
The Money Show. The Money Show.
The Money Show.
Makodem Mandi Igbo. Let the conversation begin.
Aha, Igbo ndị ọma na-ege ntị. Ekene m unu. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning. Welcome to the Money Show. Makodem Mandi Igbo. Afọ m bụ Chuka. Anyị apụtasịa ka anyị mee ka anyị si eme na nkata ndị na-achọ ọganiru, ndị na-akwado idozi obodo. Igbo nọ n'ebe niile, Igbo na-eme ife ọfụma. Ndị Enugu na-asị dejenu, ndị Ebonyi ụfọdụ na-asị ndege, ụfọdụ na-asị jọkwa ahụ, ndị Anambra na-asị kedu nọ, ndị Igbo na-asị unu abịala, ndị Abịa na-asị anyị abịawo. Daalụnụ. Ekene m unu niile. If you can hear my voice, let me see a sign. N'ịbata gị ebe a nụwa. Nkata today ga-adịkwa kpọkpọ. Ọ ga-adị interesting. This is a continuation of our political series as ndị Igbo ka anyị na-abanye na ka anyị esi wee maka anyị esi dozie our politics n'ala Igbo. Or if I on here today, in our topic, you can see that is a continuation of what we had last week, which was about our journey and the way forward. Get today, Buzi. In the practice of if I name as in the now. We have always been politicians. I mean, everybody knows that. Before I could be the politics already. We have always been into democratic process when it comes to choosing the Nachi. Come on, I know nobody in a particular way. So I always get to look at but I need to organize on why. Or if I got this conversation for. I can name one case you won't come. Kewe.
No, me one them mother keke.
Dodi. If what I say no.
Another weekend, another episode, another series. We know so many things in there, no, but he decided out of all of the things going on, can get discussed about, can get bankata about. So I think this series, like every other series, got it not very important because so many things I need to address it. You want that? Especially from as citizens, somewhere no or the knock on when so many things in age die and they push you down. And we don't freely exercise our political rights. And all the normal I discuss around it. Then I know what are the ways forward, what are some of the lessons we can learn from it. So it's really interesting to be a part of this opportunity to have these important discussions again. So Kaina Ganiru, and look forward to a very interesting conversation.
Yeah, so because if you would like to have the mic, please request the mic. But if you would like, now, as long as you are concerned about our politics and you want to contribute, you want to be part of it, you are part of it. For the name, you to go when you're going to the process already, either as a supporter or a promoter or a contestant of some sort, maybe council or local government chairman position or whatever. So if you're not the process and what we can do about bringing our people into this game, because we are Democrats or Republicans, but we believe in the democratic process as in Igbo. If I do today because all on a network very serious. Or the casif now you are so if you want to join this conversation and be on the stage, please press the mic and I got makana nketa ta ya magbo ga to I got try manage time I kaisi I got can ekuzo ku anu o de ka ekuzo ku akobolo mi na but I can serious if I na-ekwu if I na time na eje it will change a little bit. So feel free to join us. Let me just state the rules. I'm going to the rules here. One of them is when you come in, mute your mic, keep it mute, and raise your hand so that you don't interrupt or disrupt what we're doing by noise in your background. Okay, go straight to the point. Once you are asked to speak or once you want to speak, go straight to the point. Okay, stick to the conversation. In a topic guy, if I get so long, try me expand. So bad draw. Try me reference. So bad draw. Avoid noisy background when you're about to speak so that Sky will know very, very well. The last one, so respect yourself and respect the audience and also respect the people you are engaging, because now Igbo civilized people as in Igbo. I don't know. So I got you look I wap also ozugbo. I need to request your Michael. It's already 8:15. If I am Malifa na Ghana or 9, Sinaki by na 10. So I be looking at urban katak or gaba ozugbo. Onye obana choice so impoku. Request the mic ebata ozugbo na okwe nwulugo na the conversation. Anyway, addressing the issue of voter apathy in our Igbo. I don't even understand why. Till today, I don't understand why. I might have my reasons, so I can give you excuses. So, but given the kind of people we are as Igbo, the Maife, the natural Ganyu, and what on the Oboda and North Nigeria that believe in good governance like in Igbo, what on the Oboda that believe in merit like in Igbo, what on the Oboda and North natural Ifena Gofuma Organiru general progress, what on the Cholia and Nigeria can Igbo. Yet, Olu Gaya to vote, can decide is any achieving. Or the Kaya Sif na, or the Kaya Sina na Cabro the best way, then one other way, one another plan, I way, one another pattern I mean kind. Whether we like it or not. Politics, like they say, is a game of interests. Yeah, I agree. Democracy, like they say, is for those who can practice it. And good governance is for those who are willing to take responsibility with regards to deciding who will lead them. You cannot expect good governance if you don't take it as a responsibility to be involved in the process that decides who will lead you or govern your affairs. So, although I natural good governance, expressed or an expression of that desire. Man, I am what I am what I want to know why. And if I saw if I told you I was in the Chocano Chobo, don't they my if I can to be an Alex. If I'm not a FIFA pattern governance. More can and the buy actual if I the kind conundrum. People will say, I am more on the Chichi, the market, Mayf, and the mall of Manon Juriju everywhere. So I find out to vote. And they was a know it better as a web chair, and then on Obodo, Igbo, and then on Nigeria. And the people that have made good use of their time in their career, who have accomplished a lot, who have good track record, who have charted new pathways. I mean, captains of industries, professors, who have brought up development in different ways. People who have served their community very excellently. Jule everywhere. It's evident in the corporate sector. It's evidence everywhere, even in diaspora. So, all they can see if they are choosing politics. Personally, they are to vote. They are interested in politics, and they are there. They have yourself. No, I never told you have 2,000 naira or okay for something. When you open a jet, when you assist when you open a gavaniru, no bad rule you get in your kind of distance. So, I'm always in that gas. No, because the question involved are not interested. The question to vote are not interested. If was there. Sometimes I may election like this. If a boy is not somewhere, I borrow one for ball. Didn't come on wine. No, I watch TV. Didn't not for no, I love me for that. That's I gave him was a line if yes, we want good governance. Can everybody see who will bail the cat really? Because we cannot. We have seen it in all our conversations that it's impossible. It's totally impossible to have development without good governance. No matter what we do, no matter how we organize ourselves and be doing development projects as in Australia, economic, this one or that one. When you want to take it to a large scale, you definitely will need government support in one way or the other. And you can't really do that if you don't have good governance, if you don't have the good heads, the eggheads, responsible visionary leaders in positions of authority. Look at the only state we have seen. Let me put it this way. The only state that seems to be performing, because everything kind on a foundational level. So I can't for the real work. Up until I for the real work before I addition only I got look all we're not carried away easily. We are expecting so much more, even though we've seen a lot coming. But look at that one. Look at the difference. Look at the difference it's making. Every time I make a development or one project or the other, everybody I say, Alex Oti. I can't even imagine how many people he meets in a day who want to do good in Ebonyi State. We want to have the same replicated in all the states in Igbo, in Anambra State. Election will be very soon. In Ebonyi State, that they consider the most backward because of, I don't know, because they've not had good leaders or because it's the youngest state, maybe, I don't know. Imo State has, I don't think Imo State has ever had a good governor. I mean, excellent governor, let me put it that way, since 1999. Correct me if I'm wrong. Abia was in a situation for 24 years, finally. So we can replicate the same thing in all the states, but we have to find a way to do that. And we have to find a way to get the people out of their comfort zone. Awaken them to realize that this is our collective responsibility. If we want good governance, we have to be involved. And it's not just about going to the polling units on the election days. There are many things that come before that. You have to make sure that you get your voter's card. Obrigado frustrated the process. But they have a matter of survival. That this is the only way. When you see it that way, then you see that you got no go for it. After all, the buying INEC office. I don't know from the other INEC office. On the buying INEC. So they are also part of it. So, Casey, you want to know what I say about it?
Yeah, I'm a voter party for a long time, or one of those things. In the buying, we've talked about it a lot. And we talk about it oftentimes from now a very political standpoint. Because as a people, the knock on one thing we've always yearned for. We've yearned for that political power, that political representation at the top and at the forefront of all of the political affairs in Nigeria. But Odisieka, already the process is selected or it deciding when you get represented, our opinions and our actions are this year not very divided. Obidrotata. Some of it you can trace back to, the Civil War and the Biafran War, some of the things he made after the Biafran War, and the perception of the Igbos and how we together, we put ourselves, we were able to collect ourselves together. So okay, easy our direction as a people politically. For me, I feel then we're certain things, and we couple of things see they at play. The first and the most important, collectivism. They're quite convinced now. You join Igbo here. Obrigado in on this space. You join here. In terms of our mind there and our heart there and our choice there. As a people and our direction. I am aware a very unified answer in terms of, I am born in Nigeria. And when strong feeling, I am a part of Nigeria based on. In how I feel or how we feel we've been treated or we're still being treated today. So a lot of it, I believe, comes from the fact that in our thought process, even as Igbos, I am they're all fully unified. And when they believe that fully in the project and Nigeria, we're not even a part of it. So from that standpoint, you believe that you're not even a part of it to begin with, then why am I even wasting my time in the political process? It's just a waste of time. So that in itself, one fact. And I think to a big degree, that plays a big factor. Now, why a lot of the people, especially the youth, that are involved. The IPOB ideology, the emancipation of the Igbo people, and all of that belief system, some of Ndebanywe plays a huge factor. Then, if you put that aside, then you begin to talk about the political process. Our election system. Is it a system I wiki trust? Is it a system I trust to go in the past. Is even a system worth trusting to begin with? In Anya, a lot of the elections may go in the past. Research shows that a lot of the irregularities and election malpractice, some of it were actually more prominent in the Southeast compared to other regions. Meaning that the process is not straightforward. It's not a process anybody can trust. It's not a process we feel, is worthy enough to pick a person that can represent us as a people, whether on, senatorial or governorship, whatever type of election. A good example, we can point to the last election that just happened. Both in our own region and in regions outside ours, everybody to vote. So you can look at that and say, well, here's the point of it. Upon my trust on this political system, like, why am I even being involved in it? It's not going to take you anywhere. What's the point of it? I might as well just walk. So in Nesianya, some of these things, and were a lot of factors, but in there, the biggest one, but the political process. The political process is not a trustworthy, it's not a transparent process. So that alone means that there's no point trusting the political process. In manner, for a lot of people, they feel like the leader has already been decided even before the process begins. So where's the point? Well, I think there's something that creates a difference. And that difference starts from what we've all seen in the last election, especially now in Abia State. I think the difference will make you, irrespective of whatever electoral process is in play, that we as a people can also find a way by putting our voices together, by coming together to greatly change our nature. Right? That's something Kadi knew. We're still learning it. And I think all I need is concentration. All I need, we need to focus on our attention on things like this. What was actualized in Abia State? How was it done? And then how can we replicate that in all of the other states anyway? But I think for us, it's still a journey we're still learning a lot about. Only a couple of things I need as a people first to decide on, to stand on, because in Anya, I think the only thing that made a significant difference in Abia State, but that they came together and with one voice, they made a decision that changed their path going forward. And now you're being high needy. We need to come together in our different states, in our different homes, in our different families, communities. I need in order togetherness to achieve this thing. But I don't think we're there yet. It's still a work in progress. I can have one but see, things like coming together like this, having conversations like this, be a part of that process. But we're not there yet, in my humble opinion.
Very beautiful perspective to this. Hey Zoko, even like if I'm with different perspectives to this, so can you know other perspectives? Another person. Okay, Pluto. Pluto, one you always have your way. I don't know if you're going to come to this thing with the business point of view.
Okay, my brother that spoke last, thank you for your perspective. But let me come from this angle. If you look at, theoretically, if you look at factors that determines political participation or even political awareness, one of them is education. You said that the more people are more educated, the more their tendency to participate in the political process. There's also the psychological aspect of it. They say at a particular age in life, you want to start asking about the society. How can I better the society? How can I contribute to make the society a better place? There's also an aspect that says that if you're from a family where your parents, maybe your mother or your father, are into politics, there's tendency for you to want to be part of it, because maybe at your tender age, you start hearing about it. Like myself, my father was a politician, so right from as a child, I began to eavesdrop on political conversations. Almost everybody in my family, they are politically inclined. Another one said that someone that have access to mass media, read a lot of newspaper, a lot of news, in doing that, it will increase your curiosity towards political participation. Those are theories. Now, for us as Igbo people, the political apathy in Igbo land today is part of the negativity of the civil war. Prior to that, we actively participated in the political process. Actively. In short, it was even easier for Ojukwu to communicate to the youth, to everybody, because ab initio, people were interested in the political process. But because of what our people went through during the war, it tended to alienate them from the political process. Once you hear government, people see government as a wicked god. They don't want to come near it. They stay far and away from it. And the worst of us took over and started behaving like masquerades. Doesn't allow ordinary people to come close. Let me also add that these years of military administration subjugated the people, also contributed to political apathy. Now, my brother have mentioned the process and so on and so forth. Let me tell us something. I will not dwell so much on the problem, but rather I will dwell more on the solution. People can say, I pop this, I pop that. But if you go back to 1999 election, go back to 2003, go back to 2007, look at the votes that came in from the Southeast. As at then, compared to the vote that came from other regions. As at then, there was no IPOP. Look at 2011. I think 2011 was one of our highest vote contribution. After 2011, it died. Started bringing in, you hear 3 million from Kaduna, 4 million from Kano. Then you come to Enugu and you hear 300 and something thousand. You go to Aba, you hear 200 and something thousand. And you start to wonder, what is the problem? Is it that we don't have human beings again? And let me tell us, as of today, I don't know about tomorrow, democracy have come to stay. And the earlier we start participating in it, the better for us. Just like football, you can play football today and the referee did not officiate it very well. The linesman did not do it the way you wanted. You don't stop playing tomorrow. Tomorrow you go again. You don't give up. You continue. If you look at the last election, part of the efforts all of us made, it's not one person, all of us made effort. Right from voter registration, everybody made effort. And because of our collective efforts, there was an improvement. There was an improvement, as in tremendous improvement. Even though that improvement is not enough, but there was significant improvement. The more reason why, in one of our conversations, I told people that let's not give up because of the outcome. At least our efforts was visible. If we give up, it will be like, in the Bible, Jesus said that if an evil spirit is cast out and it goes out, if it comes back and that body is still empty, it will mobilize thousands of them and they will come and inhabit the place. So if we behave like snail, that something touches our tentacle and we return back to our shell, we'll never get the change that we want. No matter where we want to be tomorrow, today is very important. Today we are Nigerians. We are Nigerians today. And part of the benefit we've gotten is that in democracy, the governor of my state is from my state. My senator is from my state. So the people in charge of my political process they are from my place. So I don't have to blame Abuja. I don't have to blame another person for the challenges we face in my own state. So what do? We have to engage more in political education, orientation, very, very important, in our schools, in our churches, in our markets, in our communities, both online and offline. We need to explain to them. Because don't say because of what happened, you are not. No. You have to. You cannot give up. If you give up, will be in a very precarious situation. Now, registration of voters. We also make sure that is where technology, our tech brothers will come in, making sure that people will start. People also had challenges. People registered, they didn't get the card of registering in their home because on the election day they will not be at the market, they will be in their homes. So that is where tech will come in to help people. Maybe we can develop a software, people who are good with software, to make sure that our people are registered. To also make sure that their unit, their polling unit is. Brother say, and my sister say, we are Nigerians today, and we are strong stakeholders in Nigeria. And the earlier we realize it that today, even Jesus taught us our Lord's Prayer, give us this day our daily bread. So today is today is even more important. So we'll participate. Just imagine, check our markets. Do you know the population we have there? We cannot be doing an election and we should be seeing millions of voters. I'm not even talking about the Igbos that are residing outside the Southeast. I'm not talking about the people in the Southeast. So we preach it to them, we educate them, carry everybody along, convince them, persuade everybody to get registered and start participating. See, if we have more people registered, those our senators, our governors, they will be compelled to adjust. They will be compelled to start relating, carrying the people along, putting the interests of the citizens ahead of every other consideration. They will not be looking at, their loyalty will no longer be to someone in Abuja or anywhere else. Their loyalty will be to the electorate that gave them the power, because power resides with the electorate in any democracy. And let me also add, no democracy is perfect all over the world. Even American elections, 2020, it was disputed, a lot of things happened. So we need to put our feet on the ground. Let nobody say that we don't have unity or that we don't have, everybody does not queue behind one person. Let me tell us something. A state is not a family. In a family, people can queue behind one person. In a state, people have diverse opinion, diverse choices. It is the duty of people to try to persuade any other person to believe in their own ideology. So there is never a time, it's not even necessary for everybody to stand behind Mr. A or Mr. B. Rather, people will have different opinions, but the best we can do is, okay, brother, I feel that this A will be better. Can we do it like this and do it like that? Kunye, let me pause for now. Let me allow other people to speak. If there's need, I will say something.
Ndewo daalụ nne. Eziokwu ka ikwulu, eziokwu ka ikwulu. Ka ga n'iru. Anambra first son afọlọ gị o. Ifeanyi, ndewo. Uchokoye ngwa. Let's hear from you. Let's have your take. Go for it.
Thank you so much, Kunye Media. Ndị banye kene m unu. Biko ọ bụrụ na ị na-anụ unu m, mee sign ka mmalụ na ị na-anụ unu m. If you can hear me, just do an emoji. Just show an emoji. All right. Biko ọ bụrụ na ị nụrụ ife nkwu, share this space across your timeline so that more people can join us and be part of this immediately. Biko share, and we just have 30 persons. We should have more than that for this very important conversation. So we are talking about addressing the issue of voter apathy in Igbo. If I be ife de okempa, or the okempa makana gene no tego nya be ife mebelo. It has been a recurrent, problem in our Igbo, and we cannot solve this thing if we do not discuss it or we do not talk about it head on. We first off need to understand what exactly is responsible for this and how did we get here. At what point did we stop participating in political activities? It's not true that Ndebanya are interested in politics. It's not true that Ndebanya are participating in politics. But the level of voter apathy and the level of engagement is very, very low, and voter apathy is very, very, very high. You will now ask yourself, what exactly is responsible? Because when you ask people, there are so many excuses, there are so many things people are going to say, but we have to look at it one by one. Number one, a lot of Ndebani agotabero the importance. So we have low level of education on the importance of this. They basically depend on themselves. They believe that they are good enough. They can do without government. So that trust deficit that already existed, created as a result of the bad system that we have been experiencing for years, is primarily the responsible for this voter apathy. Because of now, I do very good with trade and commerce. I am Mofma, and we believe that we don't really need to rely on government to do anything for us. And when you look around or travel around Nigeria, you will see the difference, how we have been able to pull ourselves from the poverty level to where we are today. I'm not saying that we are there yet, but at least comparison with other climes that are very, very politically active, you see that there is high level of advancement, and that has really made a lot of people to believe that they don't really need politics. So we need to actually underscore the fact that education on politics, political education is very low. The voter registration drive has been happening across Igbo. I remember the last time I participated in driving the voter registration campaign. We went to community schools, so many people involved, in driving voter registration. But guess what? This voter registration happened, and there were so many sabotage from so many places. Right? We engage young people, volunteers to be part of this voter registration, but something happened. Voter suppression happened. So we must look at this dependently. Looking at it from introspection, like looking at ourselves, ask ourselves the important question. We will also ask the very difficult question, especially the external factors. We have internal factors, which we are going to also talk about. How we believe that we can get whatever we want without participating in politics. Who told us that? Where did we get that information from? We should begin to educate our brothers and sisters on the need to be part of the political process. That is the only way you can address anything you want to. You cannot do that through any other means. So we have to continually use every means to educate our people. And lack of that education, the poor orientation, the low level participation in politics is an advantage to politicians, so they wouldn't be interested. So it is left for people, especially the people in the know, people like us, you and I, to take it upon ourselves to begin to engage in this voter education among young people. So we will talk about voter suppression. What really happened? How did our people got denied of their voter ID during the election? If you remember vividly, if you go to any INEC office today, you see thousands, if not millions, of voter ID lying there, right? I went to Amobia in 2017, and I had serious problem with people there because they were collecting bribes. They were collecting bribes from people. If you go to the north, where you have very huge landmarks and the distance is quite long, people get their ID at their doorstep. People deliver their ID to their community because of, again, their society is different. So people get their voters card in their respective homes. But if you come here, people will come to the INEC office to collect their ID, and they will take long time. Sometimes they don't get it. Sometimes they don't even come out to get it, especially when it is taken to the ward level, because they usually take it to the ward level. And when you go to the ward level, you see that our people are not even aware that something of such is happening. I think another thing, during that period, we are trying to sensitize our people, reaching out to communities to engage in this. We realized that we have a system, or we have a system that is quite different from every other system. What I mean by that is that if you go to an average rural urban area in the southeast, take Aba for instance. If you go to the community early morning around 8-9, you're not going to see people in the streets. Everyone will be headed to their office, to their shops. Maybe very few people who sell along the streets, or very few people who do not have anything, or students who are not going to school that you would see in the house or around the streets. The rest will be heading to work or to their shop, and they only come back in the night. Now, if you calculate the days that they are going to do this in the week and the time they are going to do this, you see that they will not bring out time. They don't even have time to go to their ward in their street to pick this voter, the registered vote ID card. Sorry. So we discovered that as a problem. So we now look at how we partner with the church, with the community, to see how we can ameliorate this. Cut some of these hangovers, or some of these impediments, to make our people get their ID PVC very easily. That was what we discovered. So this is not the same elsewhere. If you look at other part of the country, it's not the same. So this is something that is peculiar to us. We need to understand those peculiarities and begin to work within the community to find a lasting solution to that. It's not enough to blame our people. It's not enough to throw blames around. It's not enough to highlight the problems. One of the things that we begin to do at this point, because again, today is not the first day we are talking about voter apathy and voter suppression that goes on in our Igbo. We need to begin to hold leaders accountable. I mean, people, when I mean leader, I don't mean political leaders, because these guys benefit from the voter apathy. We look at the church leaders, the traditional leaders, we collaborate with them, give them much more reason why they should support, voter participation, and address every form of voter suppression. What happened last year in most part of Onitsha Metropolis, Idemili, and Anambra Central generally, where you have highest number of voters in Anambra State, there was serious voter suppression. In Enugu, voter suppression was also recorded. So some of these things contributed to the low turnout and the low, votes recorded. We forget this. We forget this so much that we don't even talk about it. We don't talk about the fact that ballot box and the voter registrar came in some polling units at around 2 p.m., at around 3 p.m. Some didn't even come. Some didn't get at all. Some couldn't vote. A lot of people could not vote last year. So these things and frustrations that INEC somehow systematically implement in the Southeast causes voter fatigue. Our people get tired. And I remember in my polling unit somewhere in Agoka, beside what's the name? Government House. I personally made it possible, because they did not bring the right what's this machine, the PVC machine. They didn't bring the right one. The people they brought, they don't even know how to operate it. I was the one that helped them to activate all the polling units in that ward. I was the one going from one polling unit to another to address that. So you can imagine that what happened elsewhere, and the people were frustrated. So that level of frustration and systematic delay that is being implemented, and we saw what happened during the last election. When election was going elsewhere, people were casting their votes in other parts of the country. This part of the country, everybody was complaining of the voter suppression and all of that. So I want to tell us something that's voter suppression that happened last year would trigger a lot of anger. It will cause a lot of people not to participate in the next election, because it will cause a lot of voter fatigue. People will be tired. People will be like, they went last year, nothing happened, and voters our votes didn't count. They manipulated the system. They didn't allow the upload. These are the fundamentals. So when we blame the people, we also give them like 20% of blame, but the majority of the blame has to go to the institution that is responsible. So with this failed, they have not been alive to their responsibility. They have failed woefully, and have such a way that we would demand resignation of some of their members or some of their leaders. So these are the things we should articulate some white paper report on, and make a very serious demand that this should never repeat itself, and so some improvement should be done, especially on the collection of PVC. If you Go to any, like I mentioned, you see thousands, if not millions of PVC lying there. Nobody's collecting them. One of the things people are not, how do we make it easier for our people to come and collect it? Some of them go, they don't see it. Some of them don't even know where their PVC is located. How about the INEC collectively, community leaders, collectively work with the religious leaders to see how we can put all these things and easily get their PVC. Many people cannot leave their workplace to go and collect these things because of the nature of their work. Some of them are working for people. So, again, I mean, I've said enough, but I mean, let's if other persons speak on this subject. Honestly, it's so annoying.
Yeah.
You know, what we went through last year, all of that, the thing came out the way it came out.
All right, Uche.
So are you here?
Thank you very much. I like him kissing up with this particular angle, which is very, very key to what's going on. You will come in again. We will engage you again. We'll just move the mic around a little bit, and then, because this is going to expand the conversation. What you just mentioned now will expand the conversation thoroughly. And it has already done that, because now I'm thinking about that in this conversation, because I was thinking about it as a separate conversation, but I have seen that we cannot even successfully interrogate this issue without really looking into that and finding solution even in that direction. Yes. Ifeanyi, KFE Filu, what do you think about this voter suppression and how it plays with the people involvement, the apathy that is going on? Yeah, if there was no voter suppression, or if there was no frustration of voters by the process, do you believe that it will really make a huge difference in the manner by which people actually conduct or get involved in election in Igbo?
Good evening, everybody. I don't know if you guys can hear me.
Loud and clear.
Okay, afam Ifeanyi Chukwu, and abụmoye Anambra. So daalụ nụ maka atụmatụ unu wepụta ka anyị na-atụ alụ na-akpa nkata dịka ụmụnne maka ọganilu anyị Igbo. As people will always say, anyị enwere ebe ọzọ na-abụrụ ala Igbo, cause ọsọ si n'ụlọ chụba mmadụ amakwa m ebe onye a ga-agbaje. N'atụfughị mgbe, I will just be quick, because it's not like the two speakers have actually did justice to the topic. Ha kawagie extensively. So whatever Mwaga add is just to lend a voice to what they have already said. Even when Uche was talking, I feel like Uche akosagoni ihe niile akako ezi isi na I can akpakwankata. It's just for us to expand on the point that he has raised. Personally, voter apathy in the Southeast is intentional from our politicians, because they know that if you don't come out to vote, it becomes easier for them to win. That is the rule number one. Arienne to a vote. Forget about beavers or whatever. Arienne to a vote. The chances of rigging, they're very slim. I know I've had that discussion with I think Uche or some few concerned guys in Anambra State. Why don't we begin to a vote? Why can to a vote? We should do it in such a way that vote. But Nigeria is being structured in such a way that it is going to frustrate you. And we, Bundi Igbo, are not seeing the bigger picture. Some of us are seeing the bigger picture. Some of us are not. And one thing Maduro good is blame games. I see blame games as a sign of irresponsibility. So that being said, I think the major reason why Ejimwe voter apathy is because not the intentional. It's being structured in such a way na nyadama. Kediyebu the biggest problem na voting. The biggest problem is materials not arriving in time. Do you think no they are intentional? And they are doing it to frustrate voters so that you get angry and go home. As big as Nigeria is, as big as technology is, abehedika mpo 9 o'clock asigina material ACB from Ogidi welute mpo onye ka na agwado. And because of that, our people started losing interest in government, and then the people actually started coming out. And when people actually started coming out, those people actually stopped doing the bidding of the people and doing the bidding of themselves, forcing people to not believe in governance. And that was why Nnamdi Kanu was able to sell. Because the question Nnamdi Kanu jụrụ ndị mmadụ is, kemgbe iji etoba vote, mmiri ababago na be gị? Mba. Kemgbe iji etoba vote, electricity adebago na be gị? Mba. Kemgbe iji etoba vote, has there been road na your place? Mba. Then ọjụọ ha, why then are you continuing to vote? And because of that question, people no longer see the reason to vote. That one be done in 2011. Prior to 2011, how was the turnout? If you remember 2003, when the people actually came out to vote, I'm using Anambra State Ebenno as a case study, because I'm maka Anambra, maka Enugu. When people actually were intentional about governance, it moved to the church. At every Sunday Mass, Father Nitimpuno kana say, everybody should come out and vote and tinyake ebe tinyela ọkụkọ. That started happening. People came out en mass to vote. People has never voted as much as they did in 2003. Forget about 2008, 2007, and 2011 a vote to Jonathan. We all know what happened. So what we are going to do is, first of all, to unite as a people and know that the political class are against us. The moment we realize that, and the moment we realize that if we come out en masse and vote, it is more of us than the people, than those few politicians, that is when we begin to why. And how do we do that? By serious reorientation, not just orientation, but reorientation to talk to the people. That voter apathy was forced on us and we bought into it. We bought into in on the and the traders had as wafia and it had to vote. And it is looking like the truth. Because when you say or time only that was why Willie Obiano won the second or to go to vote also. Or to go to vote also, Willie Obiano would have won because Oji the civil servants even didn't to vote in Anambra. Traders know the vote. And coupled with Ihame last year, watch out the next election, the turnout will be worse if we don't do serious orientation, because the intention is to frustrate people and make them not see the need to vote. And make them not see the need to vote. And people are beginning to see the need not to vote. And once they key into it, we keep going down. And in the Bayane Meka, it is something that has to do with ego and pride. What do we believe? Onye Igbo ga-asị oji ọnụ elegodu fuel 2000 na ka ga-agbanwe na ọgbasara ya na government policy a na-abụ ka eme ndị Igbo ka ha nwụọ na anyị bụ children of Israel that will always survive. And because of that, he doesn't pick interest in politics. You see them go to Imahia Keta, they will complain, and after complaining, they will tell you also go di etelu ugbo etelu ose na ndị Igbo ya na-eriju afọ. That is the mindset we need to change. And then we start holding our political leaders accountable. Look at Enugu, there is no opposition. Look at Anambra, there is no opposition. Look at Ebonyi, there is no opposition. Look at Imo, there is no opposition. Everybody is reluctant. Why wouldn't there be voter apathy? I'm not trying to prove anything, man. I to vote to 100 in Anambra, it is na the Anambra Keta. Soludo will always win. Why? Because there is no people. What is the person doing? Why wouldn't there be voter apathy if people have already, majority of Anambra has already lost hope that nothing will happen next year. Soludo will win. That is the belief. Down on the people. So in order not to waste time, first of all, voter apathy had intentional from the part of the politicians. One. Then two, we need serious reorientation of our people. We need them to understand the power in their votes. And because keduka machine gesi weru na Sambisa forest enwe ceasefire at all vote. Manampo to ogidi unekwu ogidi no ogidi ana mejo mgbe na-eme computerless na mejo kpasi local government na old road. Mana machine amesinwu that same place. Bia kono ile ba na to vote. Aga no gido call 1 or bia ana afiaka na machine. Afigida aka na machine or call 3 before the madu get to vote. People get angry, they get frustrated, they go home. Which is what the government and the people are now through vote to cholo. For you to get angry and go home so they can win. Abido be to vote na mpo, mana ebido gi to vote na ya amelo. How is it possible? Just make it make sense to me. Make good sense na ebe eji ugbo wele eje ebido gi to vote. Mana mpo and ogidi ebido bere to vote. It doesn't make sense. So the first thing is, one, I will then two, how many of us would be willing to join the political force? Look at Enugu State. All the youths in enemy activities. Peter Mbe Goluchago ha oyabana na achọ akpia. Etu aka the n'Imo. Ndị enemy activism, they are inside the pocket of the government. Enwere activism na Ebonyi. Anambra free of force na-eme activism. Ka ekisi na anya dị anyị. That is the thing. So government knows what they are doing. One nine at church my high name. This is an open place and I will say as in they can make the biggest mistake ever. Primary target here. If your area of business of interest is being touched, family being touched, before you if your intentions are not genuine, you sit at home. In order to be poster if his intentions are not genuine. So because voters apathy in Igbo is fine, is not fine per se, but we have a lot to do. And mind you, I keep saying this, there is little we can do as a people. Bulk lies on government. Let us all see how we can be able to be part of that government and see if we can be able to effect that change. Man, a problem bonandino na akoko. Na-achị izu ori karị ndị nọ na gọọmenti na-ezu ori itinyekwa ha ebe a they will steal more. So biko nkata anyị na-akpa dị mma, but after ka anyị kpachalụ nkata, let us all go all out. I did it in Onitsha. Ememe in Onitsha, I printing posters and flyers. I was registering people. I was using a badge through Keza Famukema Anozina Keza Ubiasika. Ubiasika gave me his space. I was registering people with my data. I got people, we were registering people. I registered Chazzie and you had the what print out. He just in a local government of their choice, got print. Yeah. We did it in Onitsha. How many of us can be able to repeat it, maybe do the next one? How many of us can be able to go to secondary schools, register those children? Just like Uche said, transistor radio na only no na main market aga happen main market be Onitsha South or Onitsha North. Who believe own a shop, yeah. How do we get over that? What Ndapka did in my local government when I transferred, and they were telling me the need on why I have to vote them. What is other parties doing about it? It's in a local government take voters card my cousin snap them with voters card. When my own cousin now can vote to Lapga. You know, all these things are things that we need people on the grassroots to. That is why I said there is little to what we can do, because who is going to finance that movement? And that is why politicians are having a field day with it. Ready. We hold our politicians accountable. We pick up government and take it serious. Register in political parties. Form a very strong activist group. Do things and you game.
Amen. Amen. Na okwu dị ahụ.
Eziokwu na-afụ na ntị.
Ibeli ebe. Ọ dị nnọọ mma. Ihe niile aka anyị niile dị na-anụ. One thing stand out to me. Ọ sị nnọọ na ndị na-eche izu ori ka dị ndị na-ezu ori sef. Ịghọta. So na nno ya dị nnọọ. So ndị na-eche nnọọ ka dị ndị na-eso onye ọbụla nchọ nnọọ ka nchọ nnọọ ka my turn.
Ndị kwụ na line. Ọ bụrụ na ha ga-achụpụ ndị nke na ebe ha na-eche ka achụpụ ndị nke na ebe ma enye ha opportunity. But the reason why they are like it's like that is because fafon and what are consequences for ndị nke na ebe ahụ. I feel like our political office holders are very comfortable. As in very, very comfortable. In fact, I can say it's more pressure on the federal government than we even put on our state governments.
My henchman create some of that comfort level, anyway. And I didn't know if I mentioned, I didn't know a lot of it, the lack of opposition then. If what you are to be on the national level, they created this strong opposition. Mehebo, this is knocker, the not restless. What is he gonna do next? And yeah, when you're on a state level, Nabanyo. I am aware of that opposition did knocker. They have to watch their back at all times. And because of that, this is a knock or freeway. You're gonna do whatever you like. There's no accountability, nobody cares. So I know part of it, if I raise it earlier, there has to be a strong opposition. And a lot of it has to be driven by the people. If enough competent, wiki support, then we have to back that person. So it has to be a youth-driven opposition when somebody the competent in the forefront. So, like we're just scratching the surface, but I like it. We're expanding. We're getting deeper and deeper into the details of it. So, we'll look for the next person.
That's
yeah.
It. That's it. Okay, just briefly. Sorry, before the next person. It's not even for me. It's not more about opposition, but more about citizen participation. Knowing fully that if things go wrong, people will come out to the streets and march on the streets and demand from the government. As if I said, the people don't want us to participate. That is why they are making the system difficult for us. And those people are still our brothers and our sisters in the East. So the earlier our people are well educated and taught, the earlier they ask questions, they want to participate, they put pressure on the system will cave in.
See, these people, I've been around politicians a little bit, and one of the things I've learned is that it's just a mind game that they're playing on us. And from what Ifeanyi is saying, I saw a lot of defeatism in it. Like, the mother go, or that walk. After all, or my walk. As in, why would you even agree on my work? Why would you even be comfortable with the fact of that work? Like, why are you even willing to accept when this is for your own good, when this is about you? Like, a very, very important factor. Now, mentality, the Bible, no matter what happens with the government, I got Zwafia. I got Patego. Oburezioku, just delusion. I don't know why. I'm a few people personally, Jeziwego, but importers, and on my friend there. They are crying, but they won't cry publicly. They are crying. For me myself, not downsides in their companies. If I just find out go on wine. So I think it's like you said, we need to get to the point where we start facing the reality really. Then go if I know from my like. A real assessment of how this is affecting us. I think it should be a topic. How bad governance is affecting Igbo. Because Igbo are going with Ezekiel about this. Because Igbo with Ezekiel about how people are oppressing you or oppressing your business or holding you down. And we how many senators from an Igbo? We how many governors from an Igbo? Then their staff. When they can have it, the 10,000.
Yeah. She got the knock and the buying like in Kaine Kuma and the trader. All the knocker how connected by the dots yet. How it impacts them directly.
Yes.
They're not very short-sighted. And then over the long term, to some of these decisions and then when government and politics are affecting and their business directly. Because now, protest can achieve me. People are feeling the direct impact. No matter how big your business is, no matter how small, or one way or the other, you see it, it transcends down to even your family unit. So one way or the other, the impact in Erugaka, it gets there. But it connects. But all you have a part of that political education I need anyway. So people can see how we connect.
Uchenna, ka ife a ga-eme ife a biko ka ife a ga-eme ndị be anyị.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is always a pleasure to be.
Sorry to interrupt you, Bike Okwaniwe. I just want to make an announcement. Ndị be anyị.
Okay.
I'm a lot of people on at this Twitter space who have people like relatives and friends who want to join this show or listen to this show. Man, I found it on Twitter. So please just Ganyo share the link of our YouTube. We're live on YouTube now. Share the link of our YouTube with them. Let them go to YouTube and go and listen to the show. It's live. I am actually connecting to Facebook very soon. We're making a Facebook with their own, so that we can expand our audience. We'll know more people. I don't know. I'm going to try and post it on the Jumbotron. I'm already making the post on Twitter. Gani, you want them?
Okay. Thank you very much. On that moto this program will be done because now this program now touch light most of the things in the Igbo so then we'll take a solution. How do we solve all the problem? And at time one, I don't know no kita. My dad and mom, I don't fan. So far they get the program and down at Facebook. So even Abu no bro na dad in elin nikita. Okay, tinye onu n'okwu. Man ka nkube.
Only see later we can have him. Okay, very, very nice to have an elder.
Yeah.
An elder. I'm telling you, okay, very nice because yeah.
So on abu onye ya put ikwu okwu na this platform today oya dey in form of no repetition of points kaya na-eme because onye ọbụla ama most people might female and the one that participate in politics. You know, the apathy in the Igbo na-enwe, the indifference I na-enwe na politics bụ ife bidoro a very long time. Like in aya, achọrọ m ịkọba akụkọ ife mere oge agha. But after the war, military will take you over. Wee na-achị. So children were not seeing their parents participating in anything politics or just in the military. And they ma ndị Igbo sị na ewu na-ata nri nwe ade enye ya n'ọnụ. So these kids were not seeing anything. And we don't have for parents who can participate in anything in politics. So we follow their own lifestyle. Because even our parents, they were living as defeated people. Because farmer if farfo. So they were not really, you know, pushing. So I want to be fire that period. You know, things I for fun go see now these people were part of the society I know there. So the thing we linger for so long, we was part of us. Also, we bolu na ndị Igbo. Most of ndị Igbo nọ na diaspora. Ndị Igbo nọ na diaspora. Them call ka ndị Igbo no self. No, recently ka ndị Igbo na tabazi because of this ife na-emegasị insecurity dị n'ugwu Hausa, Igbo Renaissance, ibuild ndị Igbo. So if na ndị Igbo nọ outside and the most places ndị Igbo nọ like if na ndị Yoruba na ndị Hausa atụsala onwefa ka ndị Igbo si wee tụsa onwefa. So onye Igbo participate godi n'ebe ọ nọ. The participation will reflect na territory ọ nọ na ya. Ọ ma reflect na his own homeland or reflect na territory ọ nọ na ya. So ndị nke na-anọ pempe. So their impact anaghị ebu ibu. Ọzọ dị ka ibie uche kwu okwu that external influence. Ịma a na-ekwu this external influence, ndị ụfọdụ na-eche no okwu ndị na-play victim card na like use wee nye excuse ma a na-ekwu okwu. Mana famaro how deep that thing dey. Achọrọ m ikwuzi ọzọ because uche kọwaa ya ọfụma mana enwe ife nchọ digress obere ka ngwa anyị. Ememo this thing NIN n'ugwu Hausa na 2012 or thereabouts na Lafia. So that period nje the place a na-register the thing as onye Igbo mbụ mpụta nke na-efa n'oyibo. Isi da na fagwa m na fuel adịrọ na gen or na just enye m one excuse or the other. Ejem there 3 times and then one of my friend money and I eje that place all the time. So anyị wee nọkọta wee si na ọ dịkwa maka na these people mana anyị bụ ndị Igbo mere na fa chọrọ ime this thing. Ngwa anyị jekee n'ụbọchị ọzọ ka anyị sụọ Hausa. I wee jee that day. Ozugbo nje anyị bata wee sị asalamu alaikum, enyi m nwoke wee kwuo nke ya maalaikum salam. I wee zaa anyị ọfụma wee sị fa na anyị chọọ ime NIN. I wee sị bịa nọlụ ọdụ. I bịa nọlụ. The system eji eme that time amarụ ma ka aka si eme ọ bụrụ na fa na type ya na-afụ ife a na-apịnye. So wee jụọ enwere document fa ajụla anyị, enwere document fa sa anyị wepụta. So wee jụọ m gịnị bụ afa m wee gwafa na afa m bụ Uchenna Ude. Asị m the person pause or wee sị m kedu akwụkwọ m nchepụta my credentials, birth certificate, local government identification letter. Achị m ya achị bịa because ama m ife niile. So wee mebie mana obi adịrị ya mma, ana m afịa n'iru ya na obi adịrị ya mma. Anọdụ wee na-attend to us. Onye Hausa ọzọ nwaanyị wee kpuru ife afa na-ekpu wee bata wee mebe onye a attend. Ị ma na enwere ofu akwụkwọ asị onye a wepụta ka ewolu wee attend otu ha. No, ajụjụ ka a na-ajụ ya, ajụọ ya okwu ataipụ, ajụọ ya okwu ataipụ ya wee mesie wee nye ya ndụmọdụ si ya ọ na ya gbasa ozi ya gwa ndị ọzọ fabia ka fame from January of the next year na anything ọbụla mmadụ ya eme na Nigeria na ya demand for that thing, and by then na ya na ego. So then enwekwa another thing because of that Hausa nso enwe ebe elu a na-ajụ languages mmadụ na-asụ. Ịma na onye a insist ọ bụ na amantili m that Hausa nso na those list of languages no man continue that thing. So mgbe mese wee allow ka o mee because ndị bank achọrọ m use wee mee something na bank that time. So wee for how deep this thing dị achọrọ m imetụgasị ebe ndị ọzọ aka because enwechara first hand experience of all these things na dey ekwu most times. So that external ina unu for how many voters card ekpofteche na Nnewi na this last election eme on the mmadụ nwee. So oge ụfọdụ a na-use ndị be anyị quite okay, but enwe ife anyị na de elozo ọ bụ na anyị na-ekwu ya anyị na-asị na nọ ndị be anyị na-eme anyị ife na-eme anyị elozo na onye ori anara ama nwanne. Enwere ife onye ori amaro relative ife ọ dị after bụ that thing ọ chọrọ ime. So enwere ndị ori nọ na our midst anyị use nwu ominiro nọ ka ndị be anyị si akpa agwa. So fire amimi na ana wee nweta data onye ori, and onye ori enwetakwere nie o mee the biddings of ndị chọta ya without minding anything. O wee bulie ọzọ dịka ibia bụrụ violence a na-enweta na election. Ịma na Nigerian election is characterized by violence, thuggery. So and ịma na ndị Igbo onye Igbo during those period ndị Igbo anara participate in election fenwego means of survival, fenwego means of livelihood. So onye Igbo na-enese ka o esi wee je risk his life ebe o nwetego ife na-enye nri, which is one of the basic necessity of man. Ọ kalia mma na ọjọọ so sị ka ọ nọọlụ onwe ka wụpụ onwe na that violence because ọ mara ife ya eme na enwere ike ọ bụrụ ya nwa ka mgbọ ya atọ that day ọ nọlụ ọmanje participate ye. Ọzọ wee bụrụ corruption. The corruption dị na Nigerian system dị too much or the excess. Adọ na aka njọ na side nke anyị. Ife ọbụla a na-eme ndị Igbo na dị our politicians na dị complicit na everything because ọ na-adị famfe. Ọ bụrụ na isi ka interfere ya n'ife fa na-eme fa invite elu gị federal might, and ọ na-atọ ndị federal ụtọ ka abịa deal with ndị Igbo ya fọzikwuo nke ọ bụ nwanne fa nwoke na-akpọ sị bịa gbatali ọsọ enyemaka. So onye Igbo na onwe ya neneche o nwee ife na-enye ya ego, and ọ ma na o push ndị mmadụ believe na politicians are corrupt people. So why should I support someone, push him to get into power? When the person gets there, the person would, have absolute power and begin to do whatsoever he likes and start embezzling money for himself. So onye anenesi osemba ya manje kwado mmadụ onye oluzie ochezo ya zubezi ori and nwere ife oyi emenwu rapụta ndị na-asị hold our leaders accountable before ibido jidebe our leaders accountable. Anyway, some things are you will Can
One
these
around
people
up,
can these people siege convoy intimidate mmadụ n'ụzọ mmadụ onye n'ime anyị banugo governor's office just easily like that. Yeah, for the local government itself. So these people before you load there, Mupola apia ikoboko nazo, emalu yes na obulo egwuregwu mazi kafana or DNA. Also we able na a lot of people was the political jobbers. The politics in Nigeria are busy. Tell this one. I will call solution.
10 seconds round up. Igabia also. Round up. Go around, then others can talk. So you go again. Oh?
Okay. So this political jobbers, he watch ya cases a make campaign na Nigeria kita. On abo amamo onye na azo ọchịchị. So and onye mi akpọta amụ ọ bụ na i vote olie ihe si n'aka m wee mata this person from this person to this person till the last person. So too ka politics in Nigeria adịzi kịta efo because of the porosity ife fa na-enweta nie ọ bụzi do or die affairs. So fanazi ekwe this participation ndị mmadụ ka ọ dị ka o kwesị isi wee dị. Now what is the solution? Onye ọbụla ekwugo this sensitization and the very very important. Gị na mmadụ na-akpagode nkata enwere mụ na ya na-akpa nkata ịmana ikwute m okwu ọsị m mba not like kwa the system like that na ọ na-enwe olileanya na very soon na ọ ya aba. So ọ chọrọ ka the thing digide like that so that ọ banyekwa ka onwe nwee ike wee na-ezu ori ego. So anyị na-sensitize our people and ana m ekwu na anything ọbụla anyị chọrọ ya achieve anyị form something like a body and you would as a serious business or man bụzi something a na-ekwu n'ọnụ ọ bụziela a very serious business. When we are going out for a particular thing, we'll go out fully for it. I was there that pressure group fan enwete ndị mmadụ enyechego examples. Imagine enwero election a na-eme recently nke eme na Ebonyi State last week enwero opposition na all the political parties enwero onye pụta anụ. APC just went ahead and continue to occupy the positions they were in. So these things I need ka I form more because ọbụla ọlụ ofu onye ya abụla ọlụ ofu onye ọ bụ na I sensitize our people from our home, market, anywhere, church. A na-ekwu okwu daa mmadụ ewute dis okwu kwunye ọnụ na. So by so doing inekwa anyị fụna ndị Igbo na-atọnzi up kịta anụ a ndị Igbo na-atraizi. So ọgwụkwa ka ọra m n'ọnụ. Daalụ
daalụ nne ife ikwu bụ eziokwu, especially the last part, because ọ na-abanye na-ekwukwa na ife anyị na-achọ ife anyị nwa na nwa anyị ga-emenwu as ndị a na-akpa nkata now. Let's start from where we are and take the lead, because we're the leaders we have been talking about, or the leaders who were told that we will be in the future. The future is here. The future is now. I never now. That don't mean one them. Other speaker panel you go so. Check out just when did you will coming very soon. One night, Choma. What's the solution? If I get me fan, other cars if na if musubuai kaidin kaiche self. If I the leba I cover this subuai, or if I na for now. Eke me uru one them.
Hello, good evening, everybody. Good evening, Chuka.
Good evening.
Ebiko, unge mema la kam so ya na beke so that my thoughts can flow.
Ganiru.
Biko, just name this one chance. Odina.
I'll one chance. Can you one chance? My question again at Lagos na on the channel even there.
If we go fine, they got one fine. No, it's choice so you will go fine.
Just remember like I just want
I get your subsidy. This so bad draw. Choman so bad draw. I get subsidy. Go well.
Subsidy in Nigeria doing.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, so the conversation for the evening, this voter apathy, I think is, it's becoming a valid conversation, increasing in most human communities. Like, it's not just in Ala-Igbo. If you even check in various parts of Nigeria as well, and beyond even the shores of Nigeria. It's becoming a conversation. And then it begs the question if what the lifespan of democracy all over the world is it a viable political system? Because it's now looking like the politicians have found a way to sort of rig the system, right? Even America, that we say that has, one of the strongest institutions in the world, they are the founding fathers, if you can say that about founding fathers of democracy. Is the question now, especially in the last maybe 8 to 12 14, 16 years in America, how potent has democracy been in the American system? You understand? Then you're now wondering if it is failing in America, that is the founding state or the mother deck of democracy. What now happens in the other countries where we don't even have very strong institutions yet? So I think that, so back to the topic, right? I think our people know very well what the benefits of politics is. It may be unfair to say that we do not know. So when you hear us say that, focus on him and all of that, it's just a coping mechanism. We've been fucked over many times. Nobody wants to, people, we're trying to move past, the conversation around the Biafra war, but can we really have these conversations that we have these days without going back? That's our history. That's who we are. It's not going to ever change. So there's something called PTSD, that trauma that we have. I remember when I was going for service, how my father felt. He was so angry that I was going to be separated from the family for the first time. And he's like, why would Nigeria want to separate my child from me? Why? What has Nigeria given me as an Igbo man to want to move you away from, the family to hours away where you're going to serve what? So this is the mentality of most Igbo people. And if you are in a place where, okay, the government is not, first of all, what is even what are the basic functions of a government to make sure that the environment is enabling enough for people to thrive? The Nigerian government has failed severally in these things. And if the general Nigerian populace can say this, imagine what an Igbo man would say. The Igbo people have been marginalized. People will say, oh, no, it's not. Oh, they just have, this mentality of always crying every time and saying that. But the truth is that we have. Every time an Igbo man says something, in fact, I look at it, I'm happy that these days we're having, platforms like this to discuss Igbo. Some years ago, we could not have these things. Now you're having people come up and you're seeing names like Anambra First Son, Adobe. People were bold enough to say these things. I used to work in a place where I used to work before where the owner of the place is Igbo. But the people who work in the place were mostly people from another region. They will speak their language. But every time I just say, they will say, hey, you want to start Biafra here? You want to, so for the longest time, we were forced to, the more detribalized you are as an Igbo person, the more accepting the Nigerian community will be of you. But we also found out later that that's a lie. So we grew up hearing all sorts of prejudice statements about Igbo people, or Igbo boys are local people, they are one people, they don't know how to dress. So the more I grew up as a girl, I started to find out that most of all the guys with steez and composure that I knew around me were actually Igbo people. But they were not projecting as Igbo people. They were just laid back, and so you couldn't tell until you came closer. So what I'm saying is, it is beautiful to see that now we're having these conversations more. We couldn't be prouder of who we are now. Oh, Igbo people are voracious in nature. But look, the first Igbo man who we're having, the first Nigerian who we're having who's a politician, come forward and say, oh, I've been governor for 8 years, right? And I didn't steal. Oh, we're voracious in nature. I didn't steal. I didn't misappropriate funds. Please go and find out. I think it was Barrow, the former EFCC guy, who said, we're still trying to find out. If we do, we will let you know. This was before the elections. And this is about a year after the elections. And, well, he didn't find anything. And I'm very proud to say that maybe that finally kills that conversation. So it's not a tribe thing, right? Now we now know that it's just the individual. Because the first and only man to this time who has been a politician in a political space, and we do not have a stain or a dent on him, is an Igbo person. Okay. So I'm just saying that to say that we understand what the benefits of government is or governance is, but that coping mechanism of saying, even if we push, we may not get it. Look at what happened. What Obi suffered, right? if he were not Igbo, he may not have suffered what he suffered. But because of the region he comes from, and we know, so how do you now look at these people and say they're not marginalized? So we understand the benefits of government, but it's just a coping mechanism. But now we're also pushing forward to come out and say, beyond all of these issues, I think I love the conversation as well around maybe we should focus on the East. And also the problem with that is we are travelers, we're business people, and systemically, the East has been messed up to hamper business ventures. So imagine people, you can say we're the most astute business region in the country, but we do not have proper airways, railways, road, maps that are tailored towards business enhancement. How do you explain that? So this is also, if you look at it, a systemic move to force the Igbo people to leave their region and come out. So if we have left our region and we're out of our region, how then do we now influence the political decisions in those regions? Because most of us, I for one, I go to Owerri every now and again, but during elections, I've never had to travel to Owerri to go and vote. I vote where I'm at. So whatever political awareness that I have, whatever political intelligence I have, would be reflected on the place that I stay in and not my home state. So these are some of the issues that we have. But I'm thankful that the last elections, it unmarks a lot of things. Thank God for Abia State. Thank God that we have Alex Otti. We're looking forward to increasing the numbers. We have 5 states. How about the other 4 states? Imo State, somebody said, I think it was Shuka that said that we have never had, a good governor. He said excellent. Excellent, that's a push. Have we even had a governor in Imo State? Have we even had a governor in Imo State? So now beyond just even going back to go and vote, I think this, now that they know that we're looking at them, we're watching them. And I also would like all of us here, it's also an appeal to all of us here. When you're Igbo, you're Igbo. It's not Anambra, Ebonyi, Imo, Abia. No, that's not what the case is. If you're if you're Igbo, you're Igbo. So please, let us all focus. If we're talking Abia, let's see the way we put pressure on Abia State. All of us focus on Abia State during the elections and see the result of it. So when anything is happening, whether it's in Imo State, Enugu, Anambra, Ebonyi, let's all focus our attention on it and press these people. Press them until we get the results that we want. We may not really be there for the elections, but we can influence the decisions, the outcome of those elections, by being able to speak to our people. I know when I went home as well last year, during the end of last year, I had time to also speak to some family members, cousins, and all of that. So I think we need to focus this energy that we're channeling. These days, I don't even engage in conversations in Lagos about Lagos politics. I just laugh. I don't, it may be a very bad place to find myself because it's not a good thing, right? But I think we have now grown to that point where let's focus it on the East. I want to talk more on Hope Uzodinma. I want to look at Alex Otti, what he's doing. I want to put my eyes in Anambra. I want to put my eyes in Enugu, in Ebonyi State. I want to know what's happening in these places. I think this should be the conversation. For the longest time, Otis Okalu was just flexing in Abia State. Nobody really, because the main people who should be holding them accountable have, see what job has done. We've moved away, we've migrated because we're looking for better opportunities. Because the development in the East that we're supposed to be having, we're still not having them. So I think the energy for now, this is where I would, to cure this voter apathy, I think we should focus on the East more. If we focus on they say where your heart is, that's where that's where your treasure would go. So let's put our hearts in the East. Let's start to look at increasing what's happening in the East. Let's be concerned for what is happening in the East. Lagos is not my state. Yes, I care about what happens in Lagos, but Lagos is not my state. I want to see good things happen in the East, in Anambra, in Imo State. I think this is the conversation here. Even this protest, it's a good thing that this protest is happening. But see, the protest has not even started. They started saying, it's Igbo people that want to start it. It's strangers that are doing it. It's this that are doing it. It's this that are doing it. So maybe we should focus this energy, this political awareness that we have. Let's focus it. The tiny time that you have, the first Igbo person that you see in your corner, your neighbor, speak to the person. Tell the person the importance of it. Your auntie, your aged mother, your aged uncle in the village. Let them know the importance of getting their voter's card. I think it was Ifeanyi that was mentioning that as well. Let people understand what it means to get a voter's card. And when it's time for the elections, go out and vote. Because you cannot now say that, so now we now have voter apathy. I understand. So moving from, the Biafra war and everything that's happened, even now, the recent unfolding events can also cause voter apathy. So people are saying, nkai through Olekwanu the results for the ones we have done. But I think we must keep pushing, because the truth is, if you come out and vote, it becomes hard for them to rig it. But if you stay back and you don't come out to vote, then the numbers are empty. It is easy to maneuver those numbers. But if we all come out and vote, it is difficult. We saw it in Lagos State, the supposed stronghold of the enemy of Nigeria. See what happened in Lagos State, because people came out en masse to vote. People put their hearts to it. So maybe we can do that in the East as well, and start to come out en masse to vote. Talk to ourselves. Come out every time when there's something happening in Anambra State. The governor is Governor Soludo does something that we're trying to. Let's all speak up and call him out and ask him, what are you doing? Let's understand. Carry us through. Because there's something called, interaction with your community. These governors need to understand this. But because most of us don't even live in the East. So they know that we will not ask now. So if it's Lagos, most of the times we will ask Lagos, ask Abuja, but we don't really ask for our states. So let's focus on it. Governor Soludo, please, what are you doing? We need to know if 1, 2, 3. See, this planned protest that people are having now in Lagos State, even people before that don't talk about politics, everybody is aware of the protest that is going to happen. And no, they are not as powerful as we think that they are. They understand the power of the people. We, the people, don't understand the power of the people. But I think now that we're understanding the power that we have, I think it's good that we put it to good use by holding these people accountable, by putting our eyes on what is happening. If you don't put your attention there, then you may not know what it is that you may not even understand what you're even expecting to get out of it as an advantage that you have. So please, let's put our eyes in the East. I'll still come back again to speak, but I just thought I should come up and say that it would be nice for us to put our focus on the East. Let's love ourselves more. Speak our language more. I know that I did not give my submission in Igbo, but everywhere that I go to these days now, I try to speak in Igbo, especially when I'm talking to Igbo people, to help us, what's it called? Love ourselves more. And when you see an Igbo person, we have mantras that we should start to live by. Onyahala wanneya. Do you understand? When you see an Igbo person next to you, please make sure that you're looking out for that person. They say every time that we are avaricious, where we try to outsmart each other and all of that, even to fellow Igbo people. So please, these are some of those little things that we can start to do to be able to change the narrative and also, bring about improvement and enhancement in our regions. I think I'll just rest it here for now, and then I'll come back later and speak. Thank you.
Very beautiful submission, really, really. If you could ever strike a chord, let me put it in my own way. The people in power understand more than the people themselves that the power rests with the people. They understand that the people are more powerful than the people in power. As in, ndị jiri ike, ndị jiri ọchịchị, mana ndị a na-achị Khalifa, and mana ndị a ha amaro. They understand that we don't know enough about this. Most of us don't know. Ndị ma bụ ndị a na-ekwu ife a now. It will shock you if we do a survey now about this thing. I think it's something we should even attempt to do. Create some kind of a survey. Let's even hear from the people, the masses in the grassroots. Even in Igbo language, can you about elections, about governance? Let's even have some kind of an assessment of where they are when it comes to understanding governance and how it works. Maybe that will help us to know better how to formulate ways to solve this problem. Still, if we have a governor who is performing in our perception, he's performing in Abia State, that means we can actually have it in other states. So, Abia State that created that success in spite of what happened over 24 years. Do you know what it means for the oppressor? I'll call them the oppressor. To be able to hold on to power for 24 years, that means they have strengthened their power over and over and reinforced it. Yet, the people broke that mold and put their man there. So if that was possible, if that is possible in Abia, that means there's something we can apply, something we can learn from Abia, something we can learn from what happened in Abia that we can put on other states and make sure I replicated this thing. So and when we're talking about accountability, how do we hold accountable the people who are also functioning in the electoral process? Because we buy just the same way Maduzo in a village, ka ife anyị ga-eme ndị anụmanụ na-enyere aka to sabotage our process. Ọkwa ajụ na ajụ. Ife a bụ Money Show maka ọdịmma ndị Igbo. That is an acronym for maka ọdịmma ndị Igbo. Ebe a ka anyị na-abịa akpa nkata maka ọganiru ndị Igbo. As progressive Igbos all over the world, we just come and rub minds, go nenesia our problem and find solutions. Why if I na-eme ebe a? Ọ bụrụ na ị like ife anyị na-eme, biko just retweet this space. Just retweet it or tweet it. Ka ndị mmadụ fee ife anyị na-eme. I know on YouTube now. You can also tell people to go to YouTube and go and listen to the show. Or you can share it with your parents now on Twitter so that we can expand and broaden our audience. Priscilla, one name.
Hey, Chuka, Kekimel. And I know him.
Dude, I didn't know, man. If I need with him, the more people talk about this, the more the realities hits me.
Yeah. Yeah, so is you good. Emana say 2023 was a blessing, because the unraveling, the anya mepe and all those things, say, wait to Odika, to a very large extent, even though Obodo Nigeria Merayincha, you understand, mana, we should do some things too for ourselves. And I'm listening to the submissions, and I must say that it's interesting. It's interesting. And also, not just me listening to the submission. My parents, I'm in my father's house, and all of us are listening to this. And my dad is like, wow, this is very good. This is very, very good. Talking about these things, it is very, very good. So the thing is,
I wish we could have it. Okay, what about mommy?
She's listening. Everybody's listening. In fact, as I'm talking to you now, my father is just beside me, pouring himself a wine and listening to me talk.
That means if I name them, and it shows that we have their blessing. We have his blessing.
Yeah,
that's beautiful. Happy to know that. Ganiru.
Now, have his blessing. He doesn't want to talk, but the fact, the voter apathy thing is occurring here. You understand? And for long, we've been thinking that I face our business, happen the politician, that haga happen, but it just keeps getting worse. You understand? Madonna nime shop ya. I didn't hear basale and hemre na politics. Manambo wulandi beribe tetere n'ọtụtụ. Emere gịnị? Onye ọbụla iwe we ya ga na shop onye Igbo anyị. Ge mira here ọkụ. More if they did not burn it, they will loot it. If they did not loot it, they will extort. It just doesn't stop. So we have left this politics for you people yet. Okay, let us go and understand what is going on there. You understand? And I'd like to a very large extent, commend my brothers and sisters and uncles and aunts and mothers and fathers who took their time to go get this voters card so that their voice will count. Yes, we know that Mr. Yakubu you understand? But the fact is, now, as we are here, since we have acknowledged the fact that there's a huge voter apathy in the East, in these 2023 elections, in addition to the apathy that we are trying to fight against, there was what they call voters marginalization that happened. I don't know if you noticed it. I don't know, Chuka, did you notice it?
Yes.
In a lot of areas, voters' materials did not get there on time. And so it now tells you that this apathy was engineered, and there's something called social engineering, which most of us might know about, but it was engineered. And now that we are trying to fight against it, they're not trying to use the system to fight us with it. They're trying to use the system to ensure that not all our voices are heard. During the elections, especially during the presidential elections, even in Anambra State, a lot of locations did not get voters' materials on time. In fact, where there are some locations that did not get voters' material, but they got results. You understand? The most of the voters were there. They were on site as at very early in the morning. Voting. So it's a lot of problems that is involved in it. But why I'm happy about what the awakening that is going on now. Without for them not to be successful. And that's one thing I love about us. When we wake up and say, okay, we want to understand what is going on here. I actually amazing here. We used to do it and do it very well. And I'm glad that the awakening has started. I mean, That thing in Ozwemena, Kahamere 2023, Ozwemena. If you like, let them come by 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So long as that line is there, you'll be like a vote. And the fact is, this voter marginalization leads to voter suppression, and even there's some other kinds of funny things that happens. But we are learning every day. You see, you cannot continue intimidating people successfully. At some point, even if it's a goat, if you keep provoking a goat, at some point it's going to fight back. So the thing is,
Yes.
I commend us for our good job of speaking about these things, speaking truth to power. We are not interested in what is going on in other regions. Do you know why? Because we don't want to be using anyofu like in those on Emerang. We don't want to be using anyuku like those on Emerang, because in high nature nobody hearing. It can't happen here again. But even though, yes, we are known to be opinionated and quite educated and articulated in what we do, we are doing the best in encouraging the Akoko role. We are doing our best to ensure that we get good governance. Big ups to Mr. Alex Oti for keeping the mandate, and to all the rest of them. They have a lot of job to be able to do the best in the various regions, in the various states, work together. Before the southeastern governors work together to make our region much better. You already have human resources. Most of us are very, when it comes to human development index, the eastern region is very, very high. So we are doing well in that regard. So when it comes to this humans to be able to work, there's no way you will go to these. You will not see an Igbo person that cannot at least communicate with you, even if it's in pidgin English. I worked in call center that serviced the whole 36 states. We used to talk about these things. So congratulations to us as a people. I would like to say congratulations, because all we've been hearing since is all the challenges, and it's been amazing to hear them all. For me, I want to flip it a bit and say thank you all to everyone who is doing the best that they can to be able to create more awareness. Tell your grandfathers, tell your grandsisters, your uncles, your aunts that them having a voter's card matter. And when they do, exercising their electoral rights matter. And little by little, create that very strong awareness. Thank you, guys.
Daalụ nwanne m nwanyị. Daddy, anyị na-ekenekwa go. Anyị sị ka anyị gwa gị na anyị ekunigo finally. Ndị na-akpa ndị ọgbara ọfụrụ, anyị ekunigo, anyị apụtago. Unu gwara anyị mgbe anyị nọ n'ụmụaka na I would the leaders of tomorrow, the leaders of the future of tomorrow. Tomorrow I erugo because that was 20, 30, 40 years ago. Anya akabago dị nka sef for n'ime anyị amụsịgo ụmụaka na-achọzi ịnụ nwunye n'ọnwụ di. So anya abanyago. I believe in ngozi gị nọkwala anyị. I talk ịmalụ na ka anyị ga-adị iche. Anyị ga-eme ife ọfụma. All we need to do is to come together where baa n'ọlụ anọ ife anyị nọ na meeting anụma. Gwa ndị otu gị, gwa ndị enyi gị nwoke, ndị elders ibe gị na ụmụaka ibidogokwa ụmụaka abanyego n'ọlụ na ọ bụrụ sọ mkpọtụ ka anyị na-emezi na anyị na-alụzi ọlụ kịta ọ ife anyị nọ na ya na anyị na-asị gị daalụ ka anyị gaa n'iru.
Anyị azụ na-eme na ihe na-eme ya biko a sị na onye nna ya zuru oshi ọ na-eji ụkwụ agbaka ụzọ. Anyị si unu gaa n'ihu, anyị kwa unu n'azụ.
Daalụ nne daddy daalụ nne. Ngozi gị ruru anyị. This feels so good. Did you guys hear him? This feels so good. Even his voice, if you can guess it, but no interruption, nothing. Only clear. Wow. No, like that, very clearly. I love that. We would like to have more of that. So, it's now easy for you to let your parents know what we're doing so they can listen to this program and sometimes perhaps contribute. But more than that, the more they hear these things, their heart goes to us. Their heart goes to what we're doing, and their blessings go to what we're doing. And they also share it with others, because I need to qualify at their mama. We need them. Some ways advice can come. Sometimes, one Diego, Kaiganiru. What do we need to do to replicate this thing? Name Abia States now. Kaibana solution.
Yeah. Thank you. Can you hear me?
Very clearly.
My point is, I think my brother, in the person of Ifeanyi Chukwu and Anambra First Son, has highlighted the problems that we had, or that we that always faced us as Igbo people or the Southeasterners. And then my sister did a very good job. That was in the person of Shioma, because she highlighted some of my points that I want to make. But then I have to say my own the way I have to say it. My 2 points are: one, I want to mirror it from Akurulo, and then from forming a very formidable group. One, from Akurulo, is that if we looked very attentively to what happened in Lagos State during the last election, how P2B was able to conquer the Jagaban over there, you will discover it is because of active participation of people. And like our sister said the other time, wherever your heart is, that is where your treasure will be. And which is very, very correct. It's a Bible word and it's very, very correct. Because it is because people's treasure are in Lagos State that they came up, people realized that they need to participate in the government of the day in order for them to get the change they are looking for. So now, mirror it to the Southeast. Like she said as well, most of our activities are not in the Southeast. Our hearts are not in the Southeast. That is why the less of us, the rogues amongst us, are the one who are grabbing the power. It is because no one is there to question them. Your business are not there. It's only about you coming during your time season, and then you flex with your people and spend money and all that, and you go back. You only spend 2 weeks or 3 weeks, as case may be, just in the Southeast. Then the rest of the 11 months are where you base. So it shows that our minds are not there. We don't even care of what is going on in our states. But once there is a turnaround, because that is why, see, what is happening in Lagos State, I pray that it happens more. Chineke na mebere, kafa na akuri ife umu ndị Igbo. See, everything is not just about. No, I have a reason for it. Everything is not about. I know. But on the long run, see, the nation, the earth will heal itself on the long run. Because what they are doing today, they are seeing it as pain to us, but it is a blessing in disguise. That's what I want to bring out. Because the more they are doing it, the more is encouraging our people to look back home. And once we start looking back home, we start putting interest both in the business and in politics. And once we start doing the politics, getting the politics right, then we start getting those who are to represent us right. If we are not doing it, then it is the less of us. It is people who doesn't even carry. Most of them cannot even boldly host an organization and says we are championing Igbo cause like we are doing now. Most of those people leading us, they don't care. They have seen everything about politics as money venture. Everything is just let me go and cut my own share and go. They don't care about the implications, the incentive of their activities towards the people they are leading. What are they impacting to the lives, to the young ones coming up? What are they promoting amongst the people of 15, 16, 17, 18? They are only telling them how to be there, make kiosks, put people, form this in Agbero, and then use it to get whatever they want during election. And that is not how politics should be run. It is even weakening our own system, which we have, which is hormonal system and the rest of them, making them irrelevant and making us as a people, changing our philosophy as Igbo. The practices they are doing today is truncating us on a very long way. But we need to do it. See, I appreciate the program. I appreciate you, Kule. your strength will never go dry. And from strength to strength, we shall be going. This is just an awareness level. This is just on a Twitter level. It will go down and it will circulate the whole of the Southeast and beyond, not just Southeast, the whole Igbo land. That is what we want. The second point is the group. See, one of the basic mistakes that our politicians are making in playing the politics in both in Igbo land and Nigeria as a whole is that they don't have a formidable group. Somebody was saying the other time that Nnamdi Kanu and the IPOP made a mistake. See, we can't keep blaming those guys. They have defined their way, which is they want absolute sovereign nation. They are not ready to play the politics of Nigeria. We should leave them to that side. Those who want to play the politics of Nigeria should form a formidable group. That group is what our leaders, or those, I don't call them leaders, those servants in politics that we have, they are lacking that formidable group. We should be able to have a formidable group where Anambra First Son cannot speak for us always. He can just tweet because he has followers. His tweets cannot carry that weight, and it is an individual thing. But when you are speaking as a group, a recognized group, a registered group, back with lawyers and others, followed the politics of the country, you'll be the one. You as in that group becomes the eyes of the Southeast. Like I think Shoma was saying it the other time. If you want to face Abia State, we face it as a group. If you want to face Anambra is having election next very soon. So if that group can be able to focus on listening and Anambra State, with the members from all over Igbo land, we focus eyes on Anambra, we will get a very good, a reasonable result with the influence of a particular political party or candidate that we want to support. Everybody in this group that have gained ground in Igbo land, we support that particular group, a particular candidate or political party. That is what we need to do. We should stop blaming IPOP. They are not in the same game we are in. This group have to be formed. This group have to be organized. This group have to have other organs, whereby this kind what Namen is doing. Everybody starts working in harmony, as in everybody contributes their own quota to make the group formidable. So that is the first thing we need to do, because if you look at our politicians, you see that they speak as an individual, and when they want to play the politics on the national scale, they fall out easily. They are fizzled out from the settings of things because they are not coming as a group. And then even we, like I was saying it the other day, one riffraff from the Southwest just said something or proposed a regionalism and said Kogi State, some part of Kogi State will be carved out to the Southwest, and then Kwara State be added to the Southwest, and then some part of Imo State should be carved out to a new state, and Delta States and the Anioma and all those things. And the Igbo people are defending that kind of rubbish. If we have a group who looks into the politics of Southeast, Igbo land, and Nigeria as well, that is what that group needs to do. When somebody writes that kind of thing, you don't need to come out and start defending it and start complaining about it. You write your own counter proposal. That is how to do it. Your own counter proposal becomes the talk of the town, the latest in the town. I think we all know that they said soldiers obey the last order. So instead of complaining what somebody is doing, you just write your own proposal and say that some part of Ondo State, Ekiti State, will be carved into Edo State, and that Wara should be given to the north forever. That is how to play that politics. You know how to do it, then we do it better than you. Not complaining, not defending. And that is what a group should do. And I think we will get it right, because our leaders or our servants and our past leaders, the ones I mean Nnamdi Azikiwe, Michael Okpara, and the rest of them, has taught us some lessons that we need to learn from the history. So we need to learn, and I believe from Kulie today and everyone here, we are trying to make a progress by correcting those errors so that we will not fall into it again. And I believe in a few years to come, a greater height is what we are going to achieve. Thank you, and I use.
I had to learn your name, as in because you deserve that respect. This was a surgical solution. Equally in your own way, but Onyo understands where you're going. It's a very clear surgical solution. Okay, we're a very practical person from what I'm hearing, from what I'm seeing. Dalo in there for your submission. I have been hearing this. People are beginning to realize that is necessary. That pressure group, whatever you want to call it, it's imminent. Oh yeah, it's only a matter of time. Are we ready to get into that? Speaking of elder, we have one here, our own Dede here, Sir Chris, because I cannot stop. Sir Chris, Kepan came here. Welcome.
Udodi Chuka, ekelele m onye ọbụla nọ na ma ndị ke na-ekwu okwu na ndị ke na-ege ntị. Ma ụmụnna ndị nwaanyị kwurula okwu, olu unu dị mma. Achọghị m bịa repeat m ihe ndị ka ọzọ kwurula ekwu, maka na asị gị na-ekwugharị ya, o nwere otu ọ ga na-eche adazi na ntị. Ma a na-asịkwa asị, nga nwata na-ebe akwa na-arụ aka, nne ya ma izucha n'azụ nga nna ya zụchara nga. So ọrịkwa mma ka anyị na-ebe akwa na-arụ aka ebe ahụ, na ebe a ka anyị na-emete ha. Ma ọ dịghịkwa mma ị na-play blaming game every time, or mma to actually determine the issue to pursue and focus on it and go about doing it. And then using examples from what we have done before, going back to most of our actors that are no longer living now, or some of them are still alive. We still refer to what I told my children. I called them, I said, okay, you are grown now. We are living in a foreign land. You are citizens of this country. But let me tell you, you may be a professional, you must qualified. You have arrived, but you have not reached where we want you to go to. And we have arrived, but we are still not there where we want us to be. Like Ndozo Jikwerekwe, election in 2023 taught us a lot of lessons. First, we came out in mass and voted. Not necessarily Ebany Siriben Unwai, but Ebany Bi, because Ndi na travel na ebe dị n'iche iche. Mandike na obodo Igbo, mandike na Africa. But o nwere ihe ọzọ na-ekwukwa, o nwere ihe m na-agwa ebe ọ will be, try to participate in the politics of that area. It is very important, because you have to talk about the air that you breathe. How clean is it? Because you live in that area, you have to breathe the air there. You don't go to Alibo to breathe air. You breathe it in the area where you live. So you don't just let anybody gaslight you and say, no, you don't play the politics there. Go there and play it. Where I am, I play the politics there. I am a party card carrying member. I played, and nobody can tell me not to play, because I live there. I pay my taxes. I work. I contribute to the community development. So I also have to participate. Nobody can let me not participate. Stand there. How many can they kill? They will kill, and then they will stop. And this is what I told my children also. I said, that place, go there and sit down. Sit there. Tomorrow, come there. You don't run away, because if you run away, they will feel happy they have defeated you. Stay there. It's either they kill you or you kill them. And that's it. Because if you run away, they will say, the moment is hope, everybody runs away. And that has been our attitude in Nigeria. We're in Lagos, they will shout, ho, 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 we start running back to the east. We're in Kano, they will say, ho, ho, we start running back to the east. No, it cannot happen. If you make it impossible for me to live where I am, I can also determine to come to you and live also. Okay, that's a part. Kanga chukwe back na ihe onwa ndo onwa anyị mere. During the 2023 election, that was the first time for many, many years, dating up to 40 years, that I actually started looking back to Nigeria about the politics there. I never had interest anymore. I was also guilty. I had the attitude, nothing good comes out of Nigeria. Just leave them to do whatever they are doing. It will always be like that. They will steal it. They will, rig it. They will fight. They will kill each other. Leave them. I don't even, don't care. To tell you the truth, I never even knew there was somebody like Peter Obi. I never ever knew that Peter Obi was even a governor. I only met him one time. I was trying to listen to what they call Brekete family, and I saw him, talk, and how he was talking, and then I started, researching on his antecedents, and then it really gingered me, and that was why I decided to come out during the electioneering campaign. And then I told myself, okay, you are coming out, it's not just to come and shout. You have to do something first. And what I did was, during the registration for voters card, I chartered buses that registered almost 3,000 people. Even to collect the PVC also. Even when the INEC was not coming, I went there. I sent somebody there. I even had to tell you that I had to bribe them to come to my village to come and distribute those cards. They said they don't have transport. I sent a vehicle that went there and brought them to the community, and everybody got their voters card. Then I started talking to the women, because the backbone of the society are women. If you want to get a man, talk to his wife. Don't even go to the man, first of all. And that was where I concentrated on. I started buying, during the Christmas, rice. Every 3 months, I bought rice, Indomie, whatever, and distributed to them. They were all happy. And then I started telling them, this election now, you have to do it as if your life depends on it. Because we want to make a change. And there is one thing I want you to promise me. Vote for Peter Obi there. They all stood up and voted for Peter Obi. In my word, he got 100%. I even went as far as having what we call a situation room here in Germany, where I am, and two in Owerri, and one of the candidates I was supporting also in his own house. I bought what they call digital eyes and distributed all throughout my ward, whereby I was seeing here in Germany how they were voting in every polling unit. I paid the salary of 40 people that were standing as agents in every polling booth in my ward. I did not do it just because I had the money. I don't have the money. I'm doing it for the betterment of our people. Things must change, and I studied it in my own ward. So, and this is what I want to tell everybody sitting here, listening to them, and those speaking also. Please, do something yourself. Start it the little you can from your own world. And there is one other thing I do also. Every time I am a mural, if I am available, I send one of my workers, our people there, they will put it on a video call. I do the mural with me. How can you make somebody will drink it for me because I know I'm there. I participate. Are you in Lagos? Are you in Kano? The artificial intelligence has made it easier for us now. And with the help of algorithm, you can do a lot of things. Participate in what is happening in your locality, your own kindred meeting. Call them on video. When are you having your own meeting? Then you can take part. Because there is one thing. If you don't participate, 2 or 3 people can connive and take a decision that can impact your life. Before you change it, you may not even know. It will take. You may change it later, but it will take a long time to do. But now come to it then. What do we do now collectively to change the situation? There is no need highlighting the problems. We have spoken about the problem a long time. And when we hear now say, a camel works very well. So, but if you just to get the camel walk, you have to give him a little bit of carrot because they like eating carrot. Then you beat a little bit of slap on the back. Then it will be, calm and walk. But if you just give him carrot, he becomes lazy. He becomes aggressive. So this is why we have to go through this way. A little bit of bread, a little bit of slap, a little bit of bread, so that the ginger, that is, I'm talking about our politicians now. Coming to, accuse them, shout on them, cause them, may also make them aggressive. And we are seeing it everywhere. We saw what happened in Imo State. The guy came in there through the help of the Supreme Court. He said, okay, by the second time, I will make it impossible for you to accuse me of coming through the Supreme Court. And he did everything possible to determine how the election went through, and he won. Now, nobody can come and tell him, but the Supreme Court did it. He's gone. But what do? We have to really have to know how to make a dialogue with them, talk to them, focus on what they are doing wrong, and also where we can help to, change the narrative. Let us forget about what happened during the war. Because I could remember after the Second World War, the Germans, the ones that really survived the war, sat down together and said, I want to speak it in German language. They say, Muge es nicht mehr passieren. And I translate it now, Igbo and English. May it not happen again. Somebody has also used that word, and I really want him to repeat is that it's not only Nali Igbo can say Ozoemene, may it not happen again. And they really sat down and set up policies that will make it impossible for what Hitler did to repeat again. They don't even have Germany has no constitution because they are an occupied land. They cannot have a constitution. Everything they do is according to gazettes. And in their gazette, they call it Ground Gazette. The real caption there is the vote and its mention is unantastable. Let me translate it into English. It says, the dignity of a human being is untouchable. That means that's what Hitler did, sending almost 6 million Jews to gas chamber should not happen again. And I really want the Nigerians to also come out, tell themselves the truth, that what they did in starving almost 3 million Igbo children to death should never happen again. Accept what you have done and let's move forward. But how do they do it? You cannot just come and say they will do it. We have to emphasize it, force them to come out and do it. And they have to do it. But come kwụsịkwa because ọ bụ na oge rukwe m ikwukwa ọzọ.
It's easy to learn from you. Thank you very much, Dede. If you could be very serious, but don't want to if you could be very, very serious, you might go, especially if you go about the camel. I think that's where they got the statement of the method of the carrot and stick. The carrot and stick method, I guess, is from the camel illustration. That's where it came from. I have never thought about it like that. Yes, I've never thought about it like that. I've never thought about facing or dealing with our politicians in that manner. That is in a manner whereby onye na agwa ya mee for you are telling him this is what you need to do. We expect this from you. We're holding you accountable. Onye amekwa nke dem mma ito ya. He prays yeah. I guess that's what you're saying. Onye me nke dem mma ito ya si email of mama na ika nwekwara ọlụ ego alụ ọlụ deal gị gaa n'iru. I actually like that. If I was a governor, even if I wasn't there to do things right, and people are criticizing me all the time, but then people told me well. I think that has a human side. Psychologically, I will feel somehow mortified. I will feel touched, and that could also a little bit change my attitude. I think that is possible. Almost everybody who has come on this platform to speak about solutions, especially the big ones who have been doing projects, always say that when they go to these states, especially your state, Mr. Hope, I don't know why the hope is not resonating. Whenever they go to him with solutions, they're very, very practical and very realistic. He gets excited, but nothing comes out of it. Nemeka has said the same thing. I have heard different people say the same thing. So how do we drop? I'm wondering how we're going to balance that, and what is too hard? How hard is too hard? And how much praise? Should you praise him really? This is my concern and my confusion about it. But we need to be able to at least appreciate anything they do. I think that's a very profound point. And I think we can take something from what you brought about the German style and the German principles and their philosophy. Very, very important, because it's evident that it's producing good result for them. We'll come back to you, sir. Kaiganiru. Amadioha. Hey, anytime I see this name, anytime I see this name like this, Odika and I get shake. Amadioha, Kekwan.
Adi mumma gị nwakwanụ
dodi ikwugo man ọbụrụ ndị mmụọ na-ekwu ngwa gaa n'iru.
Okay, ịma na a na-ekwu okwu voters apathy na ana Igbo all involve a whole lot of things, like the problems from different places. Number one bụ ịma that there is this consciousness now, though na the thing end the bago, like to some extent, but na ndị mmadụ believe. In fact, ọ bụrụ sọ ndị mmadụ, like my parents self, mgbe nka pere mpe ekwughara okwu je tụọ election. In fact, my mom, the first election my mom too was during Goodluck Jonathan time. That's the first election also. O jijiri aka je gbata voters card ruo mbọsị a ọ pụọ. The first time in history, Umfuri Oje with a voters card there to election during Goodluck Jonathan's time. Now, the belief na believe na after all na yobunu mere na edego results. That's like one of the main issue. Like onye agaba ahia mbosi a ifo bosi self anono no. Ina anu result ha degolo. Ihe ha ga-edesigoro iche na ihe na waste time on mentality. Or the very, very, very popular among the older folks in Igbo land. This thing now. And again, I believe in another thing. Again, we see about sensitization. You see, when we say that Ndi Igbo enwero media, when I mean media, I'm not talking about maybe somebody setting up a media for their own business, maybe a radio station for their running, you know. I'm talking about media, ethnic conscious, maybe a media that might be sponsored by socio-cultural groups like Ohaneze and Igbo, something like that. It is born out of, helping people, like to educate people, not necessarily about, okay, ndị apụ ga-akwụtago ụgwọ, ndị nke akwụtago ụgwọ ka emere ha advertisements nke just to educate people. It's very, very much possible. But the people that can do this are politicians. They are political. They are not there to play politics against a particular set of people, but to educate people on the right things to do. This is the very first thing. Like I used to hear people in Cosmos FM, Cosmos Mbobona, how they were playing Igbo music back then, and this is the kind of media we need. And again, social media, a lot of things. These are the kind of things that get sensitized, like people to do the right thing. And again, Bona, our social cultural group, I'm not saying that they are not trying, but to some extent, they are leaving the needful. Able grassroots. You must start from the bottom before you gather up. But they will leave all those things. There are some certain things. We don't even have a pressure group in Igbo land. I mean, like a very big pressure group. They will come out and say, no, this is wrong. That we, the so-called social group, or we will social group, will not take it. That it is wrong. Never. Most of them are affiliated with one political group and another. Like, an example, in 2020, only one thing like that. We go online. When I Charlie Messi contact in Ohaneze and Igbo. And the only people I could get to was Ohaneze and Igbo youth, led by one faction. In fact, it was so worse that the Ohaneze and Igbo youth divided themselves in state, like each state had their own president. Not just that they have their own president, they were playing different politics, like they were in different factions. So the person who reached out na akọwara okay na ihe na-eme gịnị ka ga-emekwa maka this thing. Osim na ha ga-emekwa something about it, mana na mmekwu na mma support ya. Na iwu bụ na mma support ya na anything o kwuru mpụta online. Maka I'm very active on Facebook back then. Na mma support ya on social media. His own kind of politics. Na iwu bụ na ihe ọ bụ n'okwu mpụta support or his own faction. You see, these are the issues. If they are already playing politics instead of doing the needful. So Ndi Igbo needs a very serious pressure group. And if you look around, there are a whole lot of groups that are scattered. Some of them, they are very, very small. But why can't these people just come together and form an apex group? Even in Ohaneze and Igbo, do you know that there are two factions? There are two factions of Ohaneze and Igbo that are countering each other. Even though they want, people don't know that there are two factions of Ohaneze and Igbo. Sometimes, especially the media, they wouldn't want to say it. They will say that Ohaneze and Igbo supported this. Many people get maybe the Iwanya one faction that is more popular. No, if you read the news, you would understand that the Ohaneze and Igbo is not the one by Iwanya, but by another person, another faction, the campo, and they are also releasing statements, and they are going by the name Ohaneze and Igbo. So most of these groups, I believe that they should be registered so that another person cannot use that name to, release whatever statement they are doing. So I believe that one of the things get help in this voter apathy thing, Bona, sensitization and bringing people that are willing to do something. That's the issue. Are there people that are willing to do something about it? There are some people that say, these are the problem. Rather, they want to play politics. They want to key into one senator or something. So these are some of the issues. So I believe that an apex organization, they are political, sensitized. These are the people that can even align with local government chairmen. But you see, these are the problem. These people are added already. Imagine if you can get all the local government chairmen in Igbo land into one cultural group, and with them, they can be sensitizing people. But most people are not really interested. So these are the issues. So that's my contribution.
Amadioha, sorry, na metinyekarị arụ dị ya maka na abụ m nwa Anambra, even though na nne m onye Imo, mana ofu ife a ka ọ bụ. Amadioha daalụ nne, ife ikwu bụ eziokwu, na ọ na-ewutekwanụ m na na-ekwu ife a because in fact, ọ dị ka one day no full boss I got no we sit down and talk about, we ask ourselves, we interrogate that issue, the issue. Sometimes some people will say that Igbos don't love themselves, or Igbos don't unite. Igbos are not united. Others will say, no, Igbos are united. Then the person will cite examples that are valid examples, really. So, let me just land. All the kasif na onwe areas by name we ofma. Onwe areas oga beje we easily unite. When areas oga beje ofiba anyaro. For instance, even Ogbako, onwe di Ogbako ga akpo now. Ndị Igbo ezu everywhere. Ogbako ga akpo now if mmadu no. Let me give you an example, and this is not to criticize, but it's just to cite some things that might help us as insights. And we'll go a few festivals I met as in Igbo. Maluma, so beautiful, promoting our culture, putting us out there, putting the light on our heritage, the beauty of our fashion, our lifestyle, how we love each other, how we enjoy each other's company. And it sells the brand, the Igbo brand, and it has economic value also. And when you watch how it goes, and then with a lot of attendance, and then with a lot of involvement of the buy. But maybe if I found out the same thing about if I know now, or something that is serious, if only a man for the even 100th of that number. So yeah, that is what people mean when they say we don't. So all the kasi for no politics. In that area of politics, then because my fans are azu, people that are looking for their own personal benefit end up being the ones to come out. Just like when we go to the polling units, the reason why people can easily rig the election is because there is not critical mass that comes out to vote. So India would put an eye 200 or 150 or even 70 never. And I from about 2,500. Hey, now I'll go face these people now. I calm down from my work. Yes. So I think maybe the same thing applies to this idea of working together, of forming group, or having a body, or forming a critical pressure group that can actually put pressure on the leaders. Maybe the problem is that the reason why maybe maybe not because they are one to suffer the never. Us. And in of my a friend of mine told me that in of me, most of the people in those groups, but they not one politics. They are not favored in the politics. So because all the while. So maybe could it be that the reason why we're having the bad eggs, if you may call them that, is because enough of us don't get involved. So we need to interrogate that issue. Why is it that we find it difficult to be passionate about this, just as we are passionate about other things about Salif and Igbo that unite us? This is the question I'm asking. But I would like us to spread it a little bit and then come back to you. Jimmy,
please, I want to say something. All the connected to what you're saying, because I think we are missing a lot of things. I want to say something. Please, if you will give me the chance, I would like to say something. I think two things that we have missed is that we have not traced where Ebemili Bido Mabai. That's one. Then secondly, we are also putting the wrong blame on the wrong issue. Somebody mentioned about Ohaneze and how they had factions. I think we blame ourselves too much for, and we bring in issues that do not really relate to. Ohaneze, there is no socio-cultural organization in this country that is not in factions. The Afenifere has factions, has always had factions. The Northern Elders Forum has factions. All of them have factions. So I think when we put too much of this blame, we tend to scatter, destroy what is even remaining. We know the real Ohaneze. So if we know the real Ohaneze, it is for us as Igbo to follow the real Ohaneze and not to tell ourselves that because there's faction, we should not, do the right things we are meant to do as Igbos. So the idea of us, always raising the issue of disunity, because we tend to overflog it and even tell others that we are disunited when it is not even the issue. So I think we need to get that. Then secondly, the issue of voter apathy. We need to know, when did voter apathy start and what caused voter apathy? Please fact check me. In 1979, the East, Anambra and Imo, had more votes, had more total votes than the West. In 1983, it repeated itself in the presidential election. Please fact check me. In 1989 also, it was the same thing. In 1999, it was the same thing. Now, Kedebe Milisi Baro, let me now link it to what I am going. Now, I think in 2003 too. Now, from 2000, I think, okay, it changed in 2003. It changed in 2003, and I think in 2007. Now, what is the issue? What happened was that some of our brothers came out and told our people that we should no longer participate in census. We should no longer participate in voting. And it caused voter apathy in the East. That was part of the problem. So we need to touch on that and know where the problem is. Now again, please fact check me again. In 2011, there were more in short, vote in the East, in Southeast, was more than even in the West. Vote only in Anambra, I think Anambra or Imo, was even more than that of Lagos in terms of voting in the presidential election, because our people came because of Jonathan. What happened? After 2011, somebody else, not the one that came in 2003, somebody else came and told our people again that they should stop voting. Then in 2015, there was a total crash in the voting. There was crash in the voting, and it repeated itself since after that until in 2023. Now, in 2023, what happened was that there was this suppression of votes. I don't know if any of us watched the statistics released by Atedo Peterside after the election. Atedo Peterside put some things in the front burner. Also that INEC ensured that the voting materials arrived latest in the Southeast. First of all, that's one. Then secondly, they made sure that voting ended, apart from coming quicker, the voting ended also quicker in the East. So we need to know this thing, so we know where to tackle it. Are we tackling INEC to make sure that the same rules it sets for other people, that it applies the same rules for us? Are we also going to tell ourselves, to tell our brothers, that there is nothing you can get from a system unless you play the politics of that system? If you do not play the politics of that system, there is nothing you can get from that system. So these are the things that caused the apathy. It was not always that. Please fact check me. Check the presidential election, 1979, 1983, 1993, 1999. Then check what happened and the times it happened. These are the problems. These are the things we should be telling our people, that look, we cannot shoot ourselves in the feet because we want to run. Because when you shoot yourself in the feet, you can no longer run. So, but I want us to take this. And please, let us stop overflogging the issue of disunity. It is everywhere. Wherever you have such organizations, there is that issue. So please, let us stop overflogging this issue of disunity. Let us think of what to do to improve. Let us think of how we can join those organizations and change things, and not overflogging. Each time we come together, the thing we overflog is disunity. We are disunited. How will you unite if you keep telling yourself that you are disunited, even when it is not the truth? Thank you very much.
Can I come in? Can I come in quickly? Jimmy, your submission did not very, very, very straight to the point. And a lot of the things you could hear are things I said earlier, okay, my contribution. And, very direct. That's exactly what the problem is. There's no running away from it. But I think on where I differ, and I differ in our conversation about disunity. To your point, you can't end your point, say, we should stop overflogging disunity. Meanwhile, in your statement, you're saying that part of our problem, but disunity, because you even said, now, in this year, when they put us our people, vote, in this other day, when they put us our people, vote. So you mean we're not even united in our quest for evaluation? So how come are we then talking about it, trying to elaborate and point on one of the issues we're divided in our political quest? And all part of the problems, because you have to address it.
No. I think you're looking at it. Sorry, I think you're looking at it from the wrong perspective. In the West, there are also the Yoruba nation. There are also issues like this. There are also the Boko Haram in the north. They have their different quests. Now they do not overflow. They do not put it as an issue of unity. It's not an issue of unity. It's an issue of contending ideologies. It's not unity. Please, I want us to be cautious how we overflog the issue of disunity, because these are the things that actually divide. When we overflog those issues, they are in every organization. This guy said it. Obiozo, former Ohanese president, he said such thing when they were asking him, but you people are not united. The media was asking him that question. He said, no, wherever you have intelligent people, that unless you have doubts, that wherever you have intelligent people, there will be contending ideologies. We can deal with the contending ideologies without overflogging the issue of disunity. It is not that anytime we have different opinion, we are disunited. For instance, now we have different opinions. We are not, me and you, we are not disunited. This group that we are, this platform that we are not disunited, but we have different ideas of how we can achieve our purpose. Do you understand? So please, ofu onye kwuru ihe na-abụrụ ihe anyị kwete, anyị asị na anyị dị disunited. Ofu onye kọrọ anyị ibi ọnụ, asị na no disunity. Meanwhile, other people have the same contention. Atiku, Sanusi, na the other emir will fight in Kano, fight to finish. It will be tussle over traditionals too. When it happens in the East, we call it disunity. So please, we should be careful how we overflow this issue. People can have different ideas, but the point is that it's not every time that this means disunity. Do you understand? Having different opinions is not that you are disunited. Please, a husband and wife can have different ideas on how they train their children. You understand? They can contend on those ideas and still get. That does not mean that they have now had disunity. No, that's not. We shouldn't keep overflogging this thing. And indeed, even why I took it to that this thing is that even the example cited about having on Ohanese is not. We just talk down on our own. It's just, instead of us going to join and making impact, we talk down on our own. That should even be the rallying point of every other person. We talk it down. And then how do you now build with a system that you keep, talking down on whatever? If you go online, he will see people insulting Iwanyanwu even as he's dead. People, our own people. Do you understand? It is bad. It's bad behavior. It's not a question of disunity. It's just this bad behavior of believing that non-kanye kanjo. Do you get? So we should, please think about, look at this thing differently. We should think of how to make it better and not overflogging disunity. We are not disunited. We can't be disunited and always think in this direction. And we're any group as united as we are in this country.
Odema, and my mom, because I'm just listening to the interesting dialogue that just went on now between the two of you, and the way you brought in the air that you brought in, and also the way he interrogated your point. And what I see is that both of you have a strong, very, very strong point. But we can learn from each perspective. That's how I see it. The facts now, the facts that you dropped here where you were making the submission is too important that I will find my way to make sure that we put it out there as a cut, as a highlight that we just post. All the very, very crucial, very critical. Because I never thought about it like this. I never. All because in a more observation, and I thank you for this submission. I thank you for this observation. All the very important, and I hope that we are all picking that up, because when we talk, different intelligent people come and give their opinions. Other people will make their own opinions, and then there's sometimes and where a few disagreements, but in those disagreements you can pick up a lot of things that you can take and work with. And how you find them, and this is exactly what happened right now. I also like your passion, Jimmy. You should be coming to this show more often. I like the way you bring your passion to your submissions. We should do this. Talking about, speaking of Ohaneze. Ohaneze is a sociocultural group. They don't actually put themselves out there as a political pressure group or political action group. It's a sociocultural group, but mostly elders in the Igbo. That's how I understand it. That's what I see when they put out their statements. Even though sometimes they also venture into our politics and speak or attempt to speak on behalf of Igbo. I have noticed that as well. I wouldn't want to go into whether they are performing or not, but I just want to observe this. They are our fathers, and the president of the group, I will report that he's late, and it's been confirmed. And I would like us to, respect that, while we're having this conversation. And I will also say this: may his soul rest in peace. I hope that as he's passing over to the other side, he will be replaced by somebody who will be able to take this work to a whole new level, being able to leverage the level of awakening that is going on now, having seen what the young people are doing and the efforts they are making on social media and even on ground, that has helped us to at least install one good governor that everybody can see. I hope they can see that and take advantage of that to do more for Igbo, because they have influence, they have clout, they have power, they have connections, they have networks, they have respect, and the government respects them too, the government of the day. That's all I have to say about this. Kaiganiru, once again, Dalo Jimmy.
All right. Hello, Chuka.
All right, yeah.
Can you hear me? So I just want to, for a minute, comment that comment, about unity. Where most times I notice that most of us call this thing over and over, and I get worried because I've lived in 4 geopolitical zones in this country. I didn't visit, lived minimum 5 years, right? And I see that need to meet together. Ndibwanya with different kinds of clubs in different locations in this country. Ebo wole Ndibwanya be henwe one club or the other, Hanabako, maybe 1 month end or not, and they're always coming through for each other. Mbowula, maybe if anything happens to you, So while I understand the fact that we always want to get better, right? We don't want to compare ourselves to other people. We want to always get better. I think we should be light on the issue of unity, because but if you even see, there are a lot of social media views, and most of my own views are offline, but even online you'd see where people are coming together to donate money for this and that. While I agree that there's still room for improvement, I don't think that we are the most disunited. And I think that if we let other people allow us, or will I say, if we let other people keep pushing this narrative, it will not even allow us appreciate that part of us. Every time, I want to go akurulo with our full chest. I want to azuko. He make sure na he our aluibo kodre ofuma. Disagreements are not disunity, and I cannot emphasize that more than Jimmy has done that. So please, if you are living here today, go back and chegaria here. There may be little disagreement with your brother or not, but that doesn't mean that the Igbo race is not united. It can happen. Even in the Bible, there was disagreements. I mean, I don't want to quote anything yet specifically, but
evangelist.
I don't want to quote anything. I can tell you for free from my own personal lived experiences in all these regions in the country that we are not as disunited.
I agree with you.
In fact, let me even give you a personal story. I was traveling quickly, and there was serious traffic, and I was stuck. Amazingly, the driver was an Igbo man. Immediately, you understand? Huna had him stranded because of him and also. This man quorum. Ya sorum ni bo nam harire da nam soria. You understand? As in, I should just stay in the bus. This man quorum la to his own family house. I was very shocked. To his family house, because Ochoho come gan run a park. Do you get chuka? He made sure that I went to the family, and the house is not big, but I got I don't even know his name. I don't have his number. He didn't even want to know that. He just wanted to make sure that I'm safe in a foreign location, because he figured out that I was distressed. If you have met all these kinds of kindness, you will understand that in the Igbo is very united. You know what I mean? Your business in the Igbo you get chikotono, chuego, nyegi, ki, come. They're always doing that. Man, when they balls, ana go on a business, ana go on a meme, Ghana zoo, but not the unite. You understand? And a PR of unity, or who the main thing. You understand? In the one that took go, nyegi ki ugo one school, took nyegi ki me business, mogi as for accident. But I only cannot to because we don't think it makes sense. But we can do all those things that are very, very key. Let us begin to look at it from that angle. Maybe it will help us to appreciate
all right.
Better.
All right.
Can I take 1 second?
I think that we are a little drifting out of the conversation into unity, which is not bad, but that's not the conversation. Beyond that, I am with 13 minutes to go. 13 minutes to go. So we have to use that 13 minutes judiciously.
Yeah, we'll come back. I think is important. Hear the very, very important. Yeah, hear me here, and I want to commend Jimmy, because oftentimes, they might not put here certain things, and I look at the statements and their conversation for a lot of ironic things that are involved, and I like to point it out. How do you then have this submission? And I want to thank him for standing up and speaking up for what he believes in and standing firm on it. Because I didn't know important, because it creates an opportunity for us to know how to position these conversations near somewhere else. Do I personally believe that Igbo are unified? Of course not. I won't be a part of spaces like this that promotes our unity and our growth and things like that. But in certain situations, you'll be confronted by conversations like this, especially from even other people, bro, of your own culture, ethnic group. How do you then stand up to give them instances like this and give them examples why you think Ndi Igbo unified. Because behind a face, just like Jimmy said, a lot of people are facing it. Even though sometimes they don't knock or the rational excuse. Someone else snatch on your walk doesn't mean I want mine to be burnt. Why we know our people and why we stand by what we believe in, but amongst every other culture, we are by far the most accountable. We hold ourselves to account. We hold our leaders to account. How many politicians from other places, if we go native, how many people from other places, native politicians in here? We're beating people outside of Nigeria. If you're not performing, we hold you accountable. Yes. So we are united in what we want. There are certain differences that come, in between. But then because in Haina Chobo, common good, what's good for the greater, what's good for everyone. Ganirun de Bani, Akonomba, success, growth, all of those things behind you. And in that alone, we are united. Unity, that's all we need. We don't need anything more than that, because that's what forges us forward. So I be unified. Again, how do I evidence it? In our prosperity, in our economic prosperity, there's no unity without progress. All we just need to do is to find a way to hatch some of those hatchets, or to bring ourselves together, and have more conversations like this. How can we shift some of that economic progress back to our political spaces and all part of the conversation today? So Jimmy, again, you could know so thank you for holding your ground. I really appreciate that.
All right.
Can I have my 1 minute?
Yes, you're going to have your 1 minute. You're going to have it. But I want to say something. Because I had it, we don't support violence. I understand what you're referring to, Casey, but we don't support violence because our behavior, our pattern, it will become a problem for us. We have to find other ways to engage our leaders and put pressure on them. I saw that video. I know what you're referring to. I saw that video. It felt good. I laughed, but on the second thought, I was like, I'm doing the same thing now. That means they can even beat somebody who is not even a bad governor. So yeah, I got you. Plato, yes, I'm with unity. I'm with unity. Many things unite us or unify us, obviously. So how do we bring this unity into the political space or into the political affairs? How do we manifest this same unity, I believe, in the political space? Because it's not evident in the political space. That's why we don't have anything that is powerful enough to drive us as a body and champion the Igbo cause politically.
Okay. There's something I said before. Let me repeat it. We are a state. A state is not a family. It's only in a family that people talk about unity. In a state is there for the purpose of justice and development, not for unity. I say again, we are a state. So the issue of unity is not even there. Important, but very, very low, not priority at all. But we can talk about purposes. So, but what I want to add is this. We need reorientation in a very big way, as I have said before. When conversation takes a whole long, even the things you wanted to say, you can forget some.
Especially when you have an assistant beside you.
So my brother, we educate our people. Even when someone say that in 2003, somebody come and say people should not participate in in voting and census. One person said it. What were the leaders doing? The person that said it wasn't a leader. The people who are supposed to lead were leading. Whatever an individual said will not be anything. In 2015, nobody said anybody should not come and vote. And Kune, there's something important I want to add here. I reside in Akwa Ibom. People can also verify. The accessibility of government is higher here than it is in the East. My NIN, I registered it in my church. They were going church to register people, NIN. They were going church to register people. Yes, Atedo Peter side brought out data, which is a fact. Again, who are the people, the INEC officials in the Southeast? Where are they from? They are our brothers, they are our sisters, they are our fathers, they are our mothers. So the more reason why we need to step our feet on the ground. Wherever we see anything being done wrong, we said no. It was just in the East, even when we were helping people to register and get their cards, still our sisters, our brothers were collecting people money, some, not all, to give them their card. Other places, they were taking it to them. So, you see, a lot of reorientation, education need to take place so that our people to start to understand that making things difficult for your brother, for your sister, is not the best way. In business, we find our people helping people. In business, you get a lot of help, a lot of accessibility in business, in trade. But when it comes to government, anything that has to do with government, official things, our people tend to make it difficult for ourselves. So let's try and make it easy. Wherever you are, especially if you're outside the Southeast, join the Ohanese. I'm a member of Ohanese. And thank God the president of Ohanese here in Akwa Ibom, educated, sound, great guy. Let me also add something. Ngasu nke Igbo, biko, o eziokwu na ebe onye bi ka ọ na-awachi. Ndị Igbo sịkwa ndụ mmiri gịnị, ndụ azụ. Mana nganga ka eji agbala efi ọsọ. Ibili na ebe na-abụlọ na Igbo. Chọọ participate na gọọmenti na politics. Biko, welie nwayọ ya pụta na ya publicly. Welie nwayọ na nzo wee mee ya. Maka na anyị nwa bụ ndị be anyị. O nwere otu atị anyị ịpụtazi na be anyị mee ya ka isi wee chọọ, but ibiri na ebe na-abụrụ na be anyị na-emekwa mana welu uche gị na-eme ya. Afụlụ maka gị, ndewo brother.
All right, Darwin Plateau. I like the way you brought this. I like the way you balance things, all the importance. Marom Kaigesi Weme Farm, and I am with two people here, and we have 4 minutes. So I'm getting each of you 1.5 minutes. That is 90 seconds. So this is because you didn't come on time. If you had come in around 8:30, maybe you get enough time. If I get Puluna, we can't have people in anymore. But that's just Kairapoge. So Enu Mountain. Hey, I like this name. Enu Mountain, you have 90 seconds. Enu Mountain. Olugokwago.
Okay, sorry.
You have 90 seconds. You have 90 seconds to speak.
Okay, sorry. Good evening, guys. Thank you. Thank you for Yeninu now, because no make sense. I'm just na listening session. So here Jimmy could be very, very correct. I had a lot disunited. Yet indeed would be very, very united. Also, if you
okay, let's move to Oji.
Okay.
Good evening all. I'm trying to reply here.
What do you have in mind? What do you have in mind? What do you have in mind as a solution? I got apply adding to Kende.
I think we need to focus more on corruption, because I think most of these things have been tried. I can try a lot of these things during the 2023 election. At least I think with both sensitization and everything, we tried 60% of it. Then I want to reply, Plato. We need to measure most on corruption. It's a factor. It's a stakeholder in Nigerian politics, and it's one of the things hindering our people in participation. Because the guy just like that. So I want us to know that first, Igbo nation, our interests are their interests, and their interest is not our interest. So it cannot work the both sides.
How do you apply this thing to Ali Igbo?
That's what I'm telling you now. We need to involvement. We need to involve our youth. Then again, when a group that will be responsible in holding state level government accountable first. I'm not even about Alesso. I'm from my state. I don't know much about what is happening there. Because when a saying that says any government that neglects its rural area has not started yet. Unless what is the one governor ndị Uturu. Uturu was so on a part of Ebona governor that is using a representative, an appointed local government representative. Well, have you guys gone through the Q3 budget to see what is happening there? But we cannot dig deep in what is happening in our state actually, because I know we are about Igbo nation. So now what I'm trying to tell you guys now is corruption is a stakeholder. So I'm for to participate here. This thing is we're still going to be manipulated. So the thing is that we need to create fear, which is in a group, a very strong group, then they hold the government accountable. Okay, look at what PDP did in Abia State. No, nobody rose to talk. And it will continue to be like that. But at least. So what I'm trying to say now is, if participate to sensitize, we did 70% of this thing during Peter Obi's time, and they still manipulated this thing. So we need to find a way and get in a whole do accountable. I think that is the way we can apply mostly.
Okay.
Because even the youth involvement and the rest of it is not going to work. From my own point of view, I don't know.
All right. Dalorin Chijoke Oji. I can see that this is coming up. It keeps coming up about organizing, about group, pressure group, accountability group, Dalo, yes. About accountability group. Yes. Everybody's talking about the same thing. Hold on, because I try closes now, because Dalo for your submission. No if you haven't spoken and you couldn't speak on this conversation, we are very sorry that we can't bring you in anymore because we have run out of time. And Obone Batanoge, request your mic from the beginning. None of them might do this show. You can come in. I need video by 8 p.m. on the dot. I introduce then I That's how we do it. So, and we do this every Saturday. This is the MONI show, the acronym for Makodem Mandi Igbo. What we do here is discuss about the progress of the Igbos. We are progressive Igbos who want organiru. And we come to rub minds, share ideas, and find solutions like we have been discussing here. Practical, sustainable solutions to our problems, our collective problems, and find also collective ways we can apply those solutions. I find them here. And we try to keep it within 3 hours on a fear hour. Even if we got today, but we will improve on that. And we always live stream. We have gone back to live streaming again. Like today, we live streamed on YouTube. If you have anybody who is not on Twitter who couldn't join this show because they're not on Twitter, you can always send them the link. Our channel is Kunye-Media on YouTube. youtube.com/Kunye-Media. That's it. And you will find the video there of this particular show. We will always do that. We want to also spread it to other platforms, even online radio, so that more people can listen to this show, even if they don't have the capacity to go to social media or anything. Like our daddy, for instance, they kind of like radio. So we just peer one button, without being present on a social media platform. Okay, this brings us to the end of this conversation, and I want to say thank you to everybody who has contributed immensely to this conversation. I want to say thank you to everybody who has promoted this particular episode of The MONI Show. I also want to say a big thank you to every one of you who have been listening for the last 1, 2, 3 hours patiently, and those who brought people to join them. Because we can only look at what we can see here, but we know that we are reaching much more people from what we have heard and what we have noticed over the last 3 episodes. Somebody always says, my mother or somebody is listening here with me. So when I see a number of people on this show, I can assume in my mind that there is much more. There are more people listening to this show beyond what we can see. And that's the idea of this show. So we can just get the information out there, share, educate our people, mass grassroots education and rehabilitation. This is how we navigate the Igbos forward. And so everyone progress, promote it. So support it in any way you can. Because at the end of the day, we just have one purpose, and that purpose is what brings us together. I hope that one day we will not be talking about how or why we need a body, but we will have a formidable body that everybody is willing to be part of, that can take us there, that can hold our leaders accountable. Not just that, a body that, a body that the people who get in power are afraid of. When we get to the point where the leaders are afraid of the people, then we are in power. Then we can decide what happens, and then we can move our homeland forward. Today. Thank you again to our team on the MONI show, KC and Priscilla, and the technical team in the background helping us with the live stream. It's
the MONI show.